And here we go. Hey, welcome again to another episode of Cardboard Conversations. I'm Pat, joined by Bob, and we are Pure MTG. Thank you much for joining us this evening. And Bob, I'm sorry, I cut you off there with the go live button. Gold
No, that's
rooms, is
fine.
that what you were saying?
Doldrums. State or period of inactivity, stagnation, or depression. And
I mean, that's kind of where we are with Magic right now. And that's why I titled the episode just that.
Yeah. I guess it really depends on who you're asking, but I would say it feels like in a much larger meta sense that the wider Magic audience is in that doldrum state, that they are they're waiting for something. I mean, maybe it's personal, but I couldn't be less hyped about Magic Commander Masters if I tried.
Absolutely.
I don't even care about the spoilers. I don't even really know what's in like most of the last few sets. A few cards here and there, but I really don't.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the shorts that Matt puts out, I don't think I'd know half of the cards in Lord of the Rings. In all honesty, I've got to say it's mostly just the exposure from that. I haven't interacted with the product. I've got some gift bundles on the way, but I'm not really indulging in Lord of the Rings kind of stuff. Hey, what up, Feldy?
Mine arrived today, which I ordered from Amazon, and I ordered 6, which is typically the quantity that you get in a case.
Yeah.
Of bundles. But the box concerned me. My fiance actually was the one who brought it in from Amazon. I was like, does that have an inner box? So she opened it, and indeed, I was like, are the boxes loose or is there an inner case? And she said, nope, they're loose. I'm like, ugh. So again, Amazon not really knowing WTF took them out of their case. And
that's a bummer.
Well, I mean, just be happy you got yours. I didn't get any.
Right,
yeah. I saw your cancellation. I think Rudy talked about that some time back. I've really been slack. I'm not going to lie. Magic just hasn't had anything that's really grabbing me. And I don't know. Are you excited about Commander Masters, Matt? What we opened the show with is doldrums. The Magic doldrums is what I'm calling it, meaning it's a period of stagnation. Doldrums are usually something you hear in terms of like naval, like old naval stuff, where Christopher Columbus was crossing the Atlantic and they hit the doldrums where the ships didn't move forward, didn't move backwards, and it's kind of this miserable slack tide where they don't go anywhere. And I called it. I called it, some time ago. I said Magic is heading for a dark era. Like, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. That you take away the financial value, you take away the hype. And
well, we know that I've been excited about Magic. I don't think it's necessarily died down. I'll tell you that I'm somewhat relieved that they got canceled. The things that I mean, that's $150. It was whatever it was that I can spend on other things. Like recently, I've been buying other product. I've been buying. I bought an old box of Wyvern, a beta box of Wyvern, which was fun to open. Is it valuable? No, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know.
There's a fun aspect to it,
but it was super fun to do with Nate. Nate and I had a good time. I'll have that video up shortly. I've bought.
So make sure you like and subscribe to get notified when that goes up. Okay.
I've got 3 boxes of Alpha Clash coming. That's a new TCG that's coming out on July 21st, I believe. That was kickstarted some time ago. That was like $160 for 3 boxes, so that was a pretty good deal. And then you also get some promo cards, and then I've got another $150 of Grand Archive coming from our boy Solar from last week, Mark.
Oh, nice.
So him and I have been working together a little bit, and he sent me 3 starter decks plus a open starter deck, and a box to kind of get introduced into the game, and then he said we'll do like a starter session on how to learn Grand Archive or whatever together. So that'll be cool. But yeah, as far as Magic, I don't know.
Hey, Prime.
Kind of curious about Feldy's statement. I mean, I've been bashing
prices are too high. To be honest,
for
I told you that would be their downfall, and you told me you're okay with it, Bob. No one wants to open thousands of products at this price point.
No, I 100% agree with you. I don't.
Yeah.
Perhaps there was some misunderstanding there, but I've been openly bashing this and Commander Master saying it's too expensive. for
Mm.
a long
But
time.
it's
Now,
weird that it's
part of what's
not.
causing that is the reprints.
It's not all expensive. The actual collector boxes are cheap. And I'm not even sure why.
What? Are you talking about for Commander Masters?
Commander
It's
Masters,
4
yeah.
packs.
Oh, is it only 4 packs? That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So those are
Yeah,
like
$50,
$60 a pack.
$52, $55 a pack. I don't consider that cheap at all.
Yeah, on the surface, it's like $220, and I'm like, for a collector box that's normally has 12
What?
packs. I'm
That's
like,
wild.
that's
What is
actually
this? AFR?
a pretty
Yeah.
standard deal.
So I would like to discuss like what Felly's talking about. No, I'm okay with inflation naturally, but it's not a natural inflation what we're seeing here. This is price gouging. There's a difference. Natural inflation, I think, would be acceptable to most people. If Magic, it would be drifting up slowly over decades, right? You don't just go up by no percent or 1% every 3, 4, 5 years and then suddenly go up 30, 40, 50% in a period of a year. That is unacceptable. Additionally, prior to this and when I was making those statements, it hadn't really dawned on me just how devastating the reprints are going to be. I didn't realize how much, like, it's, if I had to define this era of Magic, everybody's calling it the flashy era, I wouldn't, or the variant era. I'd call it the reprint era. This is an era of Magic where they have reprinted at a rate that is many
Untenable.
factors
Yeah.
greater than they've ever done in the past before. And I think that is extremely detrimental to both the game and the collectible aspect of it. Because once the hype goes, once the money goes, people don't know about card games that aren't hyped with money and it's worth something. So it's no, I disagree.
If they actually were rare, that would be the thing. That's my opinion on it, Michael, is that if the cards stayed rare, if they were actually difficult to obtain, I think that's why like judge promos and stuff like that, really collectible items, and those are the few that are going to hold value. But with how much they print every single set as much as possible, I mean, some of them are print to demand. That's how secret layers work. As much as you order, they'll print. So it's difficult for cards to hold their value because of the mass printing and the reprinting on top of it. Like Bob was saying, this has just been a real heavy reprint era. And if it weren't, in my opinion, for the variations on the cards, they would hold very little value. Like the Jeweled Lotus behind you, I think that that's going to end up as one of the chase because of the special version of it. And if that's something that people want to collect into, well, it's up to them, but it just doesn't work for me because the base versions of the cards function exactly the same way. And honestly, I'm just going to proxy them all anyways, because that's where the value of a lot of them head to, in my opinion. It just seems to be cheaper and cheaper to get into it. Like the value of the cards is just lower and lower every time.
Last I looked, the Jeweled Lotus was pre-selling for over 200 for that for the full bordered, special edition.
I don't pay any attention to prices until we're at least 6 months to a year into the print run.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna follow suit the same as like the textured foils and whatnot.
Right.
Basically, every version starts off super high and then trails off, and then eventually will go back up. But yeah, to answer your question specifically, am I excited for Commander Masters? Yes. Am I going to buy anything? Probably not. The prices are insane. Like I was thinking about buying a collector box, but once you told me that it's only 4 packs, which I didn't know, then yeah, that is not appealing at all. I'm like, for $202, that's what they're going for on TCG, and I'm like, that's a pretty good deal, but not for 4 packs. I don't know. Their price is definitely very high. $300 for a draft and $375 for a set. That's
here's the thing, right? So. It's based on the question that Michael Superbacker, words that Michael Superbacker asked about the scarcity of rare cards. Here's the problem that we're facing now with this variant era, right? When you have 5,000 one rings, but they're all different versions and they're all super rare, then overall that original one ring will lose its value because sure, it's a 1 of 1. See Your Lives. It's the only one that has that art specifically on it. And it's super rare. It's 1 of 1. The problem is they're going to beat that pony into the ground as well. And that's what they keep doing. And that's what we've noticed with like the box toppers, the original box toppers from the Ultimate Masters, that yes, they're still holding a premium, but they're not like what they were. When you make so many super rare items, especially
they're not super
with
rare.
all the variants, and you don't really know which one to chase, they can't hold the value. And they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And instead of basically extracting what the market will bear, they're trying to tweak and turn up the notch. It's just like having like a Mustang GT, right? And I know people that had Mustang GTs that lasted 5 years before the engine blew, and then there's other people that have them for 50 years because they took care of them. So you have the choice. You can get the same amount of life either all at once. There's a saying, the candle that burns twice as bright only burns half as long. So if you step on that gas pedal every single time and crank it and burn your tires, and your Mustang GT is just not going to last, or your Ferrari or whatever you want. Now it can be a high performance thing that's going to get a certain amount of life out of it, and it's not always equivalent. Sometimes when you burn things twice as fast, actually you're burning it 3 times as fast when you're stepping on the gas harder, and you get a total amount out of the product, meaning the total money that they could have gotten out of Magic over a period of 30 years will be less if they beat it into the ground because they're turning off parts of their market. And that is absolutely what they're doing. They're turning off vast amounts of their market, actually. And the parts of their marketing that they're targeting the hardest are the investors and the collectors. If you only focus on the player, the game will die. I will repeat that with absolutely no ambiguity. If you focus on only making the cards cheap and attainable by the players, rather than focusing on it being a collectible card game and having tradable value, the game will die.
Well, on that note, Matt, you're getting into a lot of new TCGs. Do you think that things like Fate Grand Archive and Alpha Clash, which you just started dabbling in, do you think those are tailored more towards the collector side or the player side? Is it more about, getting together with friends, jamming some cards, or is it about, I need to buy this sealed product? Is it going to be like first edition Monarch and burn people?
The boxes for Alpha Clash are only like 60, I think it was like $62. I mean, that's for 24 packs, I believe.
Okay.
As far as singles go, I have been keeping somewhat of an eye. I mean, I can't go to TCG for Alpha Clash singles. The game's not even out yet. I don't think they're big enough. I think Grand Archive is bigger than Alpha Clash, but Alpha Clash is catching on as well. So they're both at weird points. I don't know what the singles are, but I can tell you that I've opened 3 boosters of the Alpha Clash. They came with my starter decks, and of the 3 boosters, I got 2 super iconic rares, which are like gold stamped, super shiny. And I think those are like they're supposed to be one in every like 16 or 18 packs. So I got really lucky, which is cool. When I looked on eBay, they were selling for about $40 to $50 a piece. So that's pretty good, but that's with the boxes not being in hand yet.
Right.
But without being able to like really see the market, I mean, eBay's all over the place with prices. The boxes were kind of all over the place because you could only get boosters from the Kickstarter at the time, and I think they also came with special promos. So it's hard. It's a hard question to, I guess. Long story short, it's a hard question to ask. I have no idea. As far as Grand Archive, they are on TCG Player, and it looks like a lot of the starter decks and whatnot have went up. So that is a good thing, I guess. Solar gave me a pretty good deal on, like I said, he only charged me $15 per each starter deck, and they're like 30-40 a piece. So that's he gave me a hookup. He wants to spread the game. He wants to get people interested. And
creator I follow, Red Zone Rogue, is getting into actually a couple of TCGs. He just put out a video of why you should get into Alpha Clash. So
it's really good, actually. I enjoyed it. I think I played 5 or 6 games so far of Alpha Clash. And this is just with the starter decks. I can tell you that the starter decks they're not going to tell you what the game's about. They'll give you the idea. They'll get your toes wet, but I think the game has way more depth. I've watched other games that have they're like pre-built decks. There's a YouTube channel that I watch called The Covenant. They were given decks from the creators they were basically given like their constructed decks to try out for the channel.
Okay.
And their games were vastly different than they experienced with the starter decks. Just more available. Like in the starter decks, there's no ramp, but in these constructed decks, there are a ramp in Alpha Clash.
Interesting.
So being able to ramp and being able to manipulate your deck and manipulate your cards. There's one card that's really awesome. It's a 1-mana 1/2, so it's like whatever. But he has like a specific. His name is Torque. It's very specific, like how it works. If he receives non-combat damage, I'm using Magic terms so people are familiar. So if he receives non-combat damage, instead of taking that damage, he instead gets buffed by that damage. So the whole deck is based around cards like that, playing those cards, and then there's a card called Here Comes the Boom. It's just a big board wipe, does 5 damage to all the creatures on the battlefield. So instead of dealing 5 damage to your creature, your dude gets +5, and it's just like, so you clear the board and then you just come in and it's just wild.
Damn.
Like it allows for those, from what they said in Flesh and Blood's very like trading blows back and forth. The combat's pretty close the whole time. In Alpha Clash, it creates these these waves of big plays, and similar to Magic, you could have like a really big turn and have this like crescendo of your deck popping off. And I think that Alpha Clash is going for that. These waves of like, you could have like a really normal turn, you can have a badass turn. So that's kind of what I like. Grand Archive, I don't know. I watched one game so far. It was weird. Yeah. It was like one dude punching the other dude in the face for 5 or 6 turns, and the other guy not really doing much, but like leveling up. And then after that, the other dude was like, "All right, I level my hero to level 10. I hit you for 10. I hit you for 10. I hit you for 11. You die." I was like, that was an abrupt end. The dude was at like full HP and then just died. Jeez. But Solar told me it was like, that's like a storm deck basically, if you were to attribute to Magic terms. I'm like, oh, okay, so he just popped off. So I don't know. I have to play more. I have no idea. But yeah, singles look, I don't know, healthy on Grand Archive. If you go to TCG, the prices seem reasonable. I mean, the highest card that isn't a collector card is $95. It looks like maybe. Oh, that's a promotional Kickstarter. Regional, promotional. These are all promotional, so it's actually less than $45. All right, so the standard ultra rare is $45 for a Grand Crusader ring, which is like their equipment that goes into like a sideboard. But I will say that you asked, basically the main question you asked was, do you think they're geared for collectors or players? I think that it's for players with a collector's touch, kind of similar to what Flesh and Blood is trying to do, where they want the players to have accessible pieces in the form of the crappy versions of cards. But if you really, really want to go out of your way to collect the really crazy cards, they have the collector super rare versions with the gold stamp, and they're kind of serialized because there's only so many of them from what I gathered. They're very rare, like one in like 5-6 boxes, probably something like that. So they're like $600, $1,000. So it's interesting. I think if more people played, we'd have the same problem as Magic. I think Magic's problem is there's too many players. That's my actual opinion. They have to print too many cards, and they have to, obviously the reprints is a problem, but the reason why it's a bigger problem is because there's so many players, and they have to gauge how many players they think this reprint is needed for. And then if they ever mess up, which we know they are, that one card gets reprinted to oblivion, and then it's worth nothing. I don't know. I think reprints are fine, but I think I like the reprint version of the way I think Lord of the Rings is a massive success in my opinion. I think that they did a lot of things right.
By most metrics, you'd have to say it is. I think
even the reprints
would say,
like Cavern of Souls printing in the box topper version. I think Bob's mentioned this before, that he would rather have the reprints not be in the main set, but be in like a special slot, like a box topper where there's only one per box. That way the reprints don't get nuked. And I think that's a good idea, if that's correct, Bob. Where you don't nuke the reprints because you're only getting one per box and stuff.
If they could be disciplined about it, I would. I do believe that they need to introduce reprint. I think that is a necessary part of collectibles and gaming. The problem is it's just like a fat man in a candy store, a diabetic, just nomming on nothing but pure sugar, and that's what they're doing. A little bit's fine, and you actually need sugar, even if you're a diabetic. The problem is they can't maintain it in a healthy manner. They're just, shoving donuts down their gullet. And the problem with that is, sure, you can do it just like I said with the Mustang. It'll last 2, 3, 5 years, whatever, by just gunning it around everywhere, jamming it like a sports car. Every time you take off from a light. And I know you've seen those assholes on the street. Like, dude, why are you gunning it just to get up to the next
red light
yards and have to nail your brakes? And that's what they're doing with Magic, right? I do think that it needs to be far more limited in that capacity. And yeah, having cards that are expensive and desirable and attainable creates a buzz, and it lures people into playing. And I don't necessarily agree that there's too many players. I think they need more players. The problem is, like I said, that they're trying to milk it so fast that it just can't sustain. It's going to collapse in on itself, just like housing bubbles and the tulip bubble, and it's going to happen here as well.
What would your frequency be for set releases? I mean, for me personally, I'm liking how Flesh and Blood is doing about 4 sets a year. Not much for ancillary products. You get your Blitz decks along with your main single set release. They used to do first and unlimited edition, and now it's just Flesh and Blood 2.0, and you get about 4 sets a year. That seems to be a good decent amount of time, in my opinion, to get used to the different cards, the change in meta. What do you guys think? What would work out good for Magic?
My brain tells me 6.
I like I don't know whether it should be 4 sets a year, 6 sets a year, 3 sets a year. I lean more towards like 3 to 4 sets a year, and I think that you should not have that be standard, right? Because what is a standard set anymore? What is a master set anymore? What is a commander set? They just mix and match. We're putting new cards in master sets. We're putting commander cards and pioneer cards in standard sets. We're calling a set a modern, straight to modern set, but it's mostly just for the draft environment and maybe some commander. It's like you can label it whatever you want. You can label a pig an elephant. It doesn't make it one. So it's too much by far by Magic. I think that there should only be one commander precon set per year. Personally, I would like to see a jumpstart set once per year. I would like to see one standard set per year. I would like to see one modern set per year, and whatever other supplementary, like one other supplementary set a year.
They could do that with the extension in standard. They could absolutely slow down how much they put out. The introduction of new sets. They could
actually modern doesn't even need to have one every year. You could alternate every other year. One year you have a modern set, the next year you have a master set.
Yeah, most modern players don't want to be spending hundreds of dollars, to constantly be upgrading and tuning their decks. That's why they play modern. Yeah,
speaking with Nikachu and his audience, they did not like Modern Horizons 2 coming in and just completely
changing everything,
upsetting the format, because most people that get into modern want to have their decks maintain viability for longer, right? I think they confuse that with standard. I think that nobody's played standard like oh man, you made me change my standard deck too often. That's always been a thing. It's like, hey, I want to play with the newest cards. I'm Timmy that just likes the microwave popcorn. I don't care about the long-term implication. I just want to play with the new flashy cards. Cool. But that's on Arena. And honestly, I would say, hey, Arena has a place, and make that the alchemy thing. Take all the cards you have and constantly reimagine them in a better way that the card functions better, not having so many bannings. And that's what Arena does, offer something new and unique and different. But it's terrible. But, they need to change the economy in Arena. That's a whole conversation.
The pay to win kind of aspect of it, where you can just literally now buy the rare and mythic tokens and stuff, which is just kind of ridiculous that it's so apparent now.
I think that as people, I say things I tend to say things that get ahead of the curve. And like I said, I was watching Jake and Joel. I'm not bashing them. They said, look at all these predictions we got right. Well, I mean, you're going to have to roll back the camera, roll back the footage for at least 8 months to almost a year, where I've been saying, Magic's heading for a cliff. There are dark times ahead. And yeah, their predictions, the only ones that I saw them, I stuck with it. I watched their video for about a half an hour, and they were just pointing out, look, this card dropped in value drastically. This card dropped in value drastically. This card dropped in value drastically. Yeah, that doesn't take a prophet to predict that. As a matter of fact, here's a fun exercise I was thinking of, and it's not a completely formulated idea. Instead of trying to find the cards that are dropping in value, because that's like a blind man throwing at a dartboard and automatically hitting, try to find cards that haven't had reprints, that are older than 2 to 3 years, that are going up, right? That's more fun because those are going to go up. And then I say, keep watching them when they get their first reprint. Try to find cards that have gotten reprints. If you want to take this game a little bit farther, find me cards that have reprints that went up in value.
Few and far in between. Yeah,
that would be something I'd tune into to find out. Hey, you're predicting, these cards are going to go up in value even if they get reprinted. Yeah. Show me that, because that's what people want. It's not hard to predict.
I don't think that's like really a thing that exists in Magic or most trading card games in general. There's not. I don't think that's how it works.
But it's
what reprints?
It's like a sparkler. It's like, oh, bright and shiny for 5 seconds, and then it's gone.
Unless it's just something that's like so rare that people just have never heard of it. What up, Ed? And just honestly, a quick second to everybody in chat. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing, so we really appreciate you hanging out and listening to our conversation and taking part in it as well. We absolutely love the lively comment section. Gives us something to interact with you over, so much appreciated. Come on again next weekend too.
So you mean really rare, like textured foils?
Like Imperial Seal? If they had done that as just box toppers, that would have been something different.
It doesn't even need to be a box topper, right? It just needed to be even if they don't announce it, hyper rare, right? There's so many things that they were close on really connecting with the audience. Number one, they really have to cut back the variants, period. That's just,
it's confusing as shit.
It's so confusing for everybody. Number two, when they clearly the success that they had, and I'll give this to them for Lord of the Rings, where they really improved something in the last year, something that they have proven that they were starting to get out of control with. And look, they're calling this set a super success. And that is, the serialized cards are not rampant out of control like they did with, so they tested it, right, with Viscera Seer. Didn't even see another one of those. The next time we saw serialized was Brothers War, like over a year later. Right? But then they hit that with 35 different cards that have 500 of each. Right? Overdoing it. I would have done it, and I've said it right since the beginning, maybe 5 to 10 cards out of that set.
Yeah.
Same thing that they did the next time we saw it with, and it actually went up in March of the Machine, right? So I fully expected when they had serialized cards that we were going to see a absurd amount in Lord of the Rings, and they did something right. I feel that the way that they did the serialized cards in Lord of the Rings is definitely on the right track. Right? They need to cut back. It needs to be far more rare. It needs to feel special, like what Ed's saying. It needs to truly be special, not just, hey, we're calling this special because it's crazy foil, borderless, oil slick, whatever. It's
that's a good compare. Just like Matt had brought up before, is that the textured cards, when Double Masters 22 was the hot new thing, that's what everybody wanted right out the gate. And then if you held on to them, I've still got a textured Kozilek, and it's worth maybe a third of what it was the moment we pulled it. And same thing for the serialized cards. I think that across the board, once they're not the new interesting thing, the chase goes away, and so does the attention, the allure.
Now, Ed touched on something with the special art. I agree. It's funny because maybe I say things even as much as I talk. Apparently, I don't explain myself well, and I apologize to Feldy for that. When I was saying I'm okay with prices going up, it was like they're allowed to go up based off of inflation, right? Like they have to pay their workers, they have to pay the extra costs as well.
Same.
That's clearly not what they did, right? They're clearly well ahead of that curve.
Commander Masters is expensive as hell.
It's ridiculous.
The same thing with the special art. I think the special art is the way to go to give a collectible. Like you want to appeal to the collectors and the investors. That is a way to go. The problem is when, and the absurd example is looking at March of the Machine. Like those, whatever the fuck they are, the mystical archives, whatever they are. It's like, oh my God, you would never know they're from the same set unless you look at the set symbol on the bottom.
It's funny because I just sold a Mystical Archives Time Warp, and it didn't look anything like the rest of Strixhaven. I mean, it's just such a weird series of cards, a different way to do reprints. Yeah, cool. I just thought it was so thematically different. It was very clashing, the styles of artworks that they had for it.
I loved it.
I think it was, some of them looked good, some of them looked really bad. Faithless
But
Looting,
here's the thing: is that there was no consistency. It was like, let's hit it with 50 different flavors, and then we have cards like, Elish Norn in a single set that has 8 different versions of it or 9 different versions of it.
Yeah,
right. And that's okay. Special art is the way to go, but what you do is you make one copy that you have, 55 million of those, and then you make the special art one where you have 10,000 copies of it. Not, well, I got 10,000 copies of this special art and 10,000 copies of this special art and 10,000 copies of this special art and 10,000 copies of this special art. And it's like, you just ruined it. You took it from being an awesome thing to overdoing it, just like a joke.
And to touch on Brian Giles' question here, where are the Commander Master leaks? I gotta say, I wouldn't even be all that interested just because of the price of the product. There's nothing in it that's going to draw me in. I'm not going to spend $15 for a draft pack. I'm not going to spend $25 for a set pack. Like $60 for a collector booster pack. No, thank you. I opened up Double Masters 22. I'm excited for singles, but I'm not gonna. I've got the.
I'm not excited about any of it.
Still on order. That's the one thing that I am interested in. The Commander decks getting about 10 new cards each. Pretty cool. New slivers. Hey, I'm a fucking cheap date. It doesn't take much to get me excited. Slivers does it for me. Besides that, I mean, that's just because there's new cards in them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm excited. I'm not excited because I'm going to buy the product. I'm excited because I'm going to proxy it. I want new cards. I want new toys.
Okay, let me ask you this. And if people took the same approach you do, Matt, if by and large that was the standard opinion. So we got our opinion here or my opinion that nuking the value of cards is a bad thing. You're like, I don't care because I'm just going to proxy it anyways. How long do you think the game can survive with the audience not buying it?
It's not my fault that they're doing this to themselves.
I agree. No, I'm not saying it's your fault either. I totally say I've been pointing the finger of blame at them since Fireside Chat. I have been in full bash mode because they showed their hand. If this is poker, they showed their hand. They should never have let them have that Fireside Chat. That was a terrible, terrible thing for WotC. And
or just, go to makeplayingcards.com, Michael Superbacker. Sure. That's another option. Cheap, easy to do, and you can get thousands of different pieces of artwork.
And I actually recommend that, especially for any card over $5. And
it costs about
you should be
20 to 30 cents a card for a proxy.
Sure, just get yourself hey, these cards are over $5, right? And just proxy them until they nuke the card value and then drop below $5 until they drop down to $1 a piece and then buy them the real cards.
It's still a real card. Like they actually print it, but the problem is the back isn't the same.
Yeah.
So why is that a problem?
It's for most people it's not. Most people don't care about proxies. Most people are fine with like the whole like piece of paper like where you slip a piece of paper in front.
Yeah.
Most people are fine with that. If you're not going to tournaments and you're not going to places that require real cards, and if you don't really care and you just want to play the game, just make proxies. Don't buy the
Yeah.
card. It's not worth it.
Well,
Don't support a company right
absolutely.
now. Make them change. Don't support a company.
Agreed.
Like literally, use your wallet. Vote with your wallets.
Vote with your
But it's
wallet.
not even voting with your wallet at this point, because like I'm not even saying do it as a let's stick it to the man kind of thing. I'm saying save yourself pain and agony. It's not an enjoyable hobby to spend $500 on a box to open it up, and immediately on opening it on hype weekend, you're getting $175 worth of value out of it. You feel like you went to prison and dropped the soap. It's like this is not something I want to experience again. And they're doing that over and over again. Did you guys watch the professor open his box?
I can't watch his box openings.
I love his box openings, but it was terrible.
I hate it. He's got really stupid
Watch
music.
other people.
The music's terrible.
Yeah, the music
look,
really
I actually like the whole
Sometimes
thing.
It's like circus music, like do 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 do.
Well, I like that 'cause at least it takes a painful event and makes it fun.
No,
I like that he makes them. I just click through them. Like I'll just snap to the next 5-10 seconds. Like I'll just go forward a minute, 3 minutes at a time.
And then like the chicken sounds are like all the sounds and shit. I'm just like, he's got good things to say. He's a smart dude. Talk.
Well, and that's what the point I was going to say there is I like videos. Like I can just listen to it, like a conversation when he does the dice removal. Him and Pleasant Kenobi, their podcast. Fucking love that. Like I'll download him for like trips and stuff.
Yeah, he's got good things to say. I'd rather him while he's opening the packs talk about the things that matter in the pack and then continue talking about other things that doesn't matter. Kind of like the way Rudy opens packs. He actually talks about things during the
opening, and but I think Rudy's jumped the shark. He has lost touch with the Magic audience. He's lost touch with reality, and it just feels like nothing but pure shilling for himself at this point. It doesn't feel like it's connected to Magic players at all.
I feel like half the things he says is a meme because he like opens a pack and he's like, "Oh wow, dude, this card's fucking sick." And you look on TCG, it's like 20 cents.
Yeah.
Well, then he doesn't even know what the cards are. He's like, "Oh, is this a thing? Oh, I didn't even know." Like, you're like one of the biggest names in Magic, and you don't know the product. Like, baffling.
I think
I do remember to address Ed's thing. I do remember being on your stream right after the fireside chat, and yeah, that was crestfallen. And guess what? It's hard to change the direction of this boat. And I said it. I mean, it's going to take years. I think it'll be 3 to 5 years. I don't even know if MTG Gaming Bob will be a YouTube thing by the time Magic gets straightened around. I'll be honest. I'm not looking at spoilers. I haven't watched the box opening. I watched the Professor was probably the last one, because I'm curious about values, and I watched a couple of nameless people. I don't know who the hell they are, opening other Lord of the Rings collector boxes, going, "Oof, that was painful to even watch." I don't even want to watch it because it just hurts to watch them just piss money down the drain.
Are they still over 400?
Yeah. Well, they went down and now they're back up on TCG. But if you're a wise shopper, you can get them at 350 in other places. But here's the thing: even though the boxes are that value, the contents are not that value. They're just not. It's basically either hit a soul ring or bust on those. It's that simple. The card prices inside just don't support it. Even the box toppers that are in there, you get, from what I've seen, something like around 4 to 6 box toppers per collector box. And most of the box toppers are worth shit too. So unless you hit a Cavern of Souls or a Great Henge, you don't even get great value out of those slots, which I think is what they were hoping. So by the way, they're not just box toppers, right? It's box toppers and they're in a slot in the collector boxes. So it's not just a box topper. Well, I appreciate that, Twitter. Again, I think that it's just a super feel bad. Like, it was funny because Jake and Joel asked this question, and I absolutely did not hear the value that I would buy a What would you pay? Like, if you saw Lord of the Rings collector boxes, what price would you feel comfortable buying one at?
I love that, and I'm like, wow, it's stupid to even open boxes.
I agree.
Yeah, like
that's why I haven't opened these, because I only plan to play with them. When I got the open case, true story, I just got my case, my 6 bundles, the gift bundles that Pat and I ordered 6 months ago. It was a long time ago.
March 4th, I think, is when I
Okay.
saw. Yeah, or like first week of
5 months ago.
4 months.
And,
Yeah.
and I got them today, and they didn't come in a sealed inner case. They were just loose boxes from Amazon. I was like, well, that's disappointing. And I like having the bundle boxes. I'm going to open one just to have the die because I like collecting the die from each set. And I like having the bundle box, right? So I'm going to open one, and it's different than the regular one. I didn't even open my set. I plan on opening. I ordered 2 regular bundles to open both of them. I still haven't opened the second one. And I wanted to open. I was going to open a gift bundle on show here tonight, and I went to grab it out of the box, and I said, I'm discouraged to even open this.
Yeah.
Even though what did we pay? $40-something a piece for them?
Yeah, I think it was like 51 and change shipped.
So it was like
stupid cheap.
Even at a cheap price, I don't want to open it. So my bigger problem is I really don't have room on my storage shelves for what I have for that. And I'm like, I don't want to open it because now I have to find room in my shelves upstairs. So I literally have all of my Lord of the Rings collector products either sitting down here next to me or on my morning room table. I haven't even found a home for them yet. Some of them I've had for weeks. I haven't put them in binders, haven't even organized them. That's how bad my lethargy with opening Magic product is right now. And I don't even track prices on
Feldy has a similar feeling. You know, he says he was at Target, had a Lord of the Rings bundle, and was like, "No, what? I don't even think I want it."
That is exactly it. So if you're having that impression and feeling with it, I'm having that impression and feeling with it. Multiply that by how many, right? Where people are like, nah, not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ordered some on Amazon and I got my order canceled, which is somewhat.
Well, he's not talking about the gift boxes. The gift boxes. Did you order them at $48 for the gift bundles, Twiddler? At any rate,
the bundles were 60. Was it 62 or something like that?
And I'm just telling you, when I had it in hand, I literally started pulling it out of the box, and I'm like, nah. Like,
well, I wanted one for the shelf for the Lord of the Rings gift bundle. Pat already said he's going to give me one, and I'll pay for it. I don't mind paying for it, but I just want one for the shelf because I do think it is a collector item. It is Lord of the Rings, which is pretty cool, and I think that the cards in it are cool. But they're already down to $102 now.
They were 93 when I just looked during the show. 93.
Well, they're back up to 102 though. Unless you're talking about a different site.
No, TCG.
The gift bundles.
The gift bundle was $93 when I just looked earlier. I was going to post it when I posted the other link to Dominaria Master.
Right now, the lowest is 105. So there must have been like
somebody bought one who was up there and somebody bought it. But if you see, the problem is when you start seeing prices drift like that, it's going to be a race to the bottom. And I just got mine, like, so they just came out, right? Like officially, Amazon. Like I have mine, Pat doesn't even have his, and we ordered them at the same time. So I'm going to predict within the next week, by next show, these bundles drop another 10 to 20%. Period.
Yeah, I think that we'll probably see them sub 100 by next week's show. I think that's a pretty decent prediction. At least, you know, that's my speculation. That's just, you know, for me, what I'm thinking it's going to be.
The one ring is still 50 plus, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I had my investing partner over the other day, and we were looking at it. It's like, if you open the box, you sell the collector's pack, you sell the one ring and the other showcase cards and stuff, you can still turn a decent, tidy profit on it, and then open up the 8 set packs and have your hard box, which honestly, those are freaking phenomenal items. That's pretty much like the one real reason for me to ever open bundles is because you can fit 2 decks in those things. It's freaking great for travel.
I love that. That's what I was telling you. Is that
and the gift ones are foil, like they're supposed to be shiny.
But the All Will Be One gift bundles are shiny too. I like that. You can't.
Yeah, same for me, Twiddler.
But we'll see where it goes. But you can't have these kind of Magic can't survive this kind of environment. It just can't. It's unfortunate.
I think it's doing pretty damn good. I think they'll probably make
Yeah.
record sales because of Lord of the Rings, but we'll see what happens going forward. I think that probably sucked dry all the money that people had, all the expendable income for Lord of the Rings, and then you're gonna have this. It's supposed to be killer set coming up next afterwards. Who's got money left? I mean, a lot of money. I bet you Wizards kicking themselves that they didn't charge a bunch of money for the Lord of the Rings stuff. They could have charged more easily.
Yeah.
And it would have been even worse. You'd have even worse feel bad. People are going to have the
Sure.
hangover. You know, parties always feel great until the next morning. And we're in that. Still, let's drink. Let's go. Let's buy more alcohol, even though I'm pissed drunk.
Yeah.
And they're going to wake up in the morning when they're
Cheers
sitting
to
there
more water,
trying to
boys.
sell their cards, and they look at the value of their collection and go, "Well, that was stupid."
Yeah.
We're not there yet on Lord of the Rings, but they're going to get there. Mark my words. The cards are just not going to. The cards haven't even raced to the bottom yet. It's less than a month ago that this set came out.
I think that the serialized soul rings and the non-serialized but foil soul rings are definitely keeping this product at some reasonable price point, at least for the collector boxes. And I mean, there are some pretty decent cards in the set. And thank you, Matt, for doing all those shorts. It's really keeping me informed on the recent stuff coming out. Hey, Richie. I think that Lord of the Rings is probably going to hold stronger than most sets in recent Magic history, and we are seeing this huge drop off of it anyways.
I don't agree.
No? You think this is not going to perform as... Do you think New Capenna...
There's a disparity. There's a disparity between the prices. People charging out to buy boxes that are immediately losing more than half of the value, even still. And every set has good cards, even including Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt. Right?
I think
it's true.
Then it settles in that...
There are a couple of good ones out of the Midnight Hunt and stuff. Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
There are really some good cards in there for playability, but again, it got pooped on first of all by people in general saying this set sucks, and
even AFR. I mean, there's
did.
some decent cards in it, but just all in all, I think that
value.
the namesake of Lord of the Rings is definitely going to keep a bit more wind in the sails for this product. I think in the long run, more so than like Streets of New Capenna or anything of that nature, anything more modern.
Are the surge foils? Are the box toppers always surge foil, or are they just? Is it random?
No, I don't believe that they are always. I think it's actually quite rare that they are, and that's why they are still holding a really high premium.
The surge foil prices are insane. I mean,
I thought the surge foils were
one of them.
Mostly in the sample packs.
Hey, Twiddler, help us out with this one. Where do you get the surge foils at? Ed, come on, tune in with that, would you?
I know that they have some surge foils in the collectors.
I think it's just super duper rare.
I mean, Cavern of Soul surge foil $350, market price of $400. So I don't know. Does that mean it's going down, or is that just one guy? That's just two guys selling it for super cheap. What these idiots I just don't understand. The people don't know how to sell. So it goes $349, $350, $425. Why the hell would you list it for $350 when it's going for $425?
You want to sell that shit now. You want it out the door.
I
and
guess.
You just want to
drop Just drop it $100. Why not? What a stupid seller. That's why it's a race to the bottom, because you have idiots
or
like that.
Or it's a complete fucking scam.
Sure, maybe. Did he say what the search foils were in?
We're getting different results.
Box toppers and collector packs.
But I think Feldy published whatever they had out there. Surge foils and for surge foil realms and relics cards can be found in collector boosters around 1% of the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The collector boosters. Well, what about the box toppers? Can the box toppers ever be surge foil, or are they always just?
I don't think so. I thought they were always just foil.
Okay.
Man,
but I mean,
I think that they did Lord of the Rings better than a lot of their recent releases.
I totally disagree.
I think it
Well,
was
I
one of the
consider
best successes.
I consider it
in
not
a
a
very
great.
long time.
First off, they call it a straight to modern set, and modern players are not excited about this set. It's very, very little
I think
modern
that
players
that part of the
It has
marketing.
the one
yeah, for
ring.
sure.
This is every modern deck ever.
Okay, it's yeah.
that they're
people
hoping
find
that
the
it
shit
gets
out of it.
banned
Insane.
quickly. It's like the most playable modern card, and they're like, ban that shit. The
Is it banned?
modern community is saying ban that shit. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, it's very strong.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. So when it gets banned, then there's really nothing in Lord of the Rings, the modern set for modern.
Or Orcish Bowmasters, they're going to be playing that in modern as well.
Some
Very strong
won't be a
card.
staple for sure.
Well,
At
it's
any
black.
rate,
and you're
okay,
limited
so
to
you're going to
whatever
pick
black
2
decks are.
cards out of a 350 card set to say, oh, it's a modern set. Pfft, whatever.
The Great Henge.
I don't agree.
I don't know. Does the Great Henge?
I don't
do
think
they
it's
play that in
I
modern?
think it's a terrible set to introduce new players to. Honestly, what I would have done with the IP, if your intent is to bring in new players, make it a jumpstart set for the year. Make that the jumpstart set and put cards in there like they did in the original jumpstart that are truly rare, new and unique. Lord of the Rings kind of exclusives. You know, at least for some time, I think that they did a big disservice by reprinting. Look at Allosaurus Shepherd. That was like the woo! I got the Elves deck. I might get Allosaurus Shepherd. I don't even think it's as expensive as a Craterhoof now. You know, like $15 card.
I'll tell you what. Lord of the Rings is a great commander set. I love it. There's tons of good commander cards. in
Okay,
it.
sure. My point was they advertise it as something that it's not. So on being on theme with what it's supposed to be marketed at, which is the modern set,
24.
well, that's an F to me. They failed hard. If they aimed it at new players, wow, what a terrible set to aim at new players.
No, you
gonna
can get
have
this.
no
I'm
real
looking-
home.
I was just looking at the prices for Craterhoof and Allosaurus, and man, there's a reason this is the cheapest version of Craterhoof. Look at this fucking thing.
I love that
I
version.
hate
That's the version I
it.
like the most.
I think this is just. I
Gross.
hate kids so much, though, Bob.
Me too.
Like this
I
is.
can't stand them.
Well, I'm a giant kid, so I love it.
Maybe that's why, because I'm a kid.
Well, like,
look
I'm
at
a
Cavern-
giant kid
no,
too,
Pat,
but I
Pat,
played
look
like
at Cavern of
terribly
Souls.
with
Hurry
it.
up! Look at Cavern of Souls. Look at how good it's doing.
So, so I'm just analyzing Lord of the Rings, right?
Wow.
So whatever you say, it was not on making it geared towards modern. That I grade it an F. I don't think it was aimed anywhere near being aimed at modern people. When I say, was it good in the respect to being aimed at new players to bring new people into Magic? First off, aiming modern sets at new people to Magic is a terrible idea. That's a place where you gravitate towards. Either you gravitate towards modern or you gravitate towards commander. But not a great place to start for brand new players. It'll be very, very confusing for new players getting into Magic if Lord of the Rings is their first exposure. Too many things that are just
I don't
terrible.
agree. I completely
don't you
disagree. I disagree because every set's that way. No set this year, no set in the last 3 years, you could say is an easy entry. Magic is just an
I
evolved
totally
game that's too
disagree.
long.
And I'm going to say Jumpstart is a perfect set
No, I disagree.
because you don't even have to build a deck. You just grab 2 decks, smash
But
them
it
together,
doesn't
away
teach
you
you
go.
the game. You can say that with any commander product. You can smash the commander product in sleeves and play the deck
Okay.
and go.
Well, let's
You can
back
do
that
for
up.
Any
The
product. There's a
commander format is
product for every
far more
single set.
difficult of a format to play because of the card library that you're going up against. In
Yeah.
Jumpstart, your library that you're going up against, which is a sealed environment, very limited. You don't have to construct decks. It is a very even, Steven playing field. If you start getting into Commander, and I don't give a shit what Commander decks you start taking into, and if you try to get into something like a spell table or even at your local game store, you're going to have some asshat who brings his turn 3 stomp your face in. That is Commander for a new player. So
Sure.
no, Commander is a
There's always
terrible
rule zero
format
that-
to bring
there's
new
always rule
players
zero
in.
that
I
takes
totally
care of that.
disagree. You want to bring them in brand new, don't know shit, grab Jumpstart. Absolutely 100%.
No, you want to bring
product
them
up
in,
point.
you take them into commander raids, and you play some
I
commander
agree
raids
with that.
them.
Now that's
and you
right.
fucking love this
Matt and I
guy. He's
actually agree
on
on
it.
that,
He's
and we could get
we
into that.
get it.
But that's not
This
fair.
comes
That's
up
not.
all the way around.
We're comparing Wizards
no.
formats. And what I'm saying is Lord of the Rings is a terrible place for a brand new player to just start with Magic. It's terrible.
For
Now,
sure,
Isn't
let's
there
get
Jumpstart
into the
for Lord of the Rings?
I'm going to give it a D- on aiming it at new players.
Well, hold
'Cause
on.
they
Isn't
did
there
make
Jumpstart in
starter-
Lord of the Rings?
What?
There's
Oh,
Jumpstart
yeah.
in Lord of the Rings.
I think
Sure.
they did like I
Sure.
think they did every
So why
fucking
can't-
thing they could.
Well,
So
sure.
that's my thing for this set. I don't think it was aimed at modern. Realistically, I don't think it was aimed at Commander more. I don't think it was aimed at any specific audience except everybody that could buy shit. I
Yes.
think that was their target demographic for this release.
Oh, for sure.
Was we will print everything we can in every single version. We are going to do everything, pull out all the stops, no breaks on this bitch. We're going to make $1 million card plus, and then a bunch of other, $10,000, $15,000 cards. Oh, and then just some shitty multi-hundred card. Yeah, there was a lot that they did to just sell this product. And I
As
think
they
they
should.
crushed it on that part.
Oh yeah, I think they should. It's a massive IP.
All right, so let's talk about the IP. So I'm going to say aiming at masters or even having a specific play style aimed at fail, because I don't even know
Sure,
what
I
the set
agree
is
with
really
that.
aimed at. I would say it's probably
I think
even
you
aimed
got
more
it
at
there.
commanders.
If it's targeted
if
for
they're-
modern, then I agree that it's more towards Commander.
Well, it's literally marketed as a straight to modern set. So they said it themselves on their site. Go look it up. If
It's
they're
true.
if
Yeah,
they're
no,
aiming
that's
it at
totally
bringing
fair.
new
Nowhere on
players
the
in,
product doesn't say that, but sure.
yes, it does.
It was in some of their marketing stuff when they had talked about
on
it.
the product, the actual
Hmm.
physical product. I don't see anywhere on the product where it says this is a modern set. I don't think they ever do say that, but it doesn't look like it's being marketed that way. Besides, maybe on their site. Like all I see is
I'm
Lord
gonna
of the
have.
Rings,
I don't
Tales
know
of
off the top of
Middle
my
Earth.
head. I'll have to look into it, but I'm gonna say they probably do say somewhere in there that this is a modern set. At any rate,
I'm reading the description to see if what it says.
cool. So again, more confusion. Great, Watsy. They should have put it on there because they put it on the fucking Commander decks and they put it on Jumpstart decks. You know exactly what formats those are. With regards to marketing towards new players, which is what some of the argument was. Oh, this will be a great set to bring in people totally new to Magic. Absolutely disagree 100%. I think it's terrible and confusing. So I'm going to give them a D- on that one. I don't think it's very clear. Like Jumpstart was very clear that way. I think that some of the higher end stuff is clear where they're trying to market it.
But how can you give it a D when it has Jumpstart as a product? It does the exact same thing you're saying it did well. You're saying that the original Jumpstart did well because you can take two packs, smash them together, and play. They have that product.
And you didn't
here.
listen to what I said. They needed to do it like a Jumpstart set, like they did the original Jumpstart, because everybody knows that the tack-on Jumpstarts are complete trash and ass.
The value of these boxes haven't went down, so they might be decent this time. I haven't looked, but
they haven't went down. Nobody's buying
they're
the
still
fucking thing.
They're still $100.
Yeah, look at the flow-through rate on that. What I'm hearing is nobody's buying the Jumpstarts.
1 box today, 3 boxes yesterday, no boxes the day before.
Cool story, bro. You know what? They're selling more M30 boxes at this rate than those. At any rate,
probably true though. It's probably true though.
All right, so let's move on because I want to get to the IP and tackle that one. And all right,
But I
so
think
here we go. I get demonetized and I get kicked off YouTube here. But I think what they did with the social woke bullshit to the IP for people that love Lord of the Rings, and they open up I'm just going to call it their black Aragorn going, wait, what? And their black Eowyn and their black Galadriel. It's like, I have nothing wrong with black people at all. But this is clearly not what people that are coming in for the IP would identify with the IP with no explanation.
Yeah, I think it's completely fine. But
I'm going to call it a flavor fail by sticking to the Lord of the Rings lore. I'm going to call it at a best a C-. They did some things very well. Some things they failed just hardcore.
And
when it gets
I
to Lord of the
I
Rings.
gotta kind of agree with you, Bob. As a huge Adventures in the Forgotten Realms buff, I've got dozens of books that are about Drizzt and Bruenor, and if they had gone through and made Drizzt a white dude, I'd have flipped. Like I just couldn't have handled myself. And same thing if they had made a black version of Wolfgar the Barbarian, that would have been really odd.
Imagine if they had made Drizzt a dwarf. You'd probably be like, what?
Yeah, or Or if they
What?
made him a black lady instead of a black dude. It's like, well,
Sure.
that's not the character that I fell in love with as a kid. That I was like, wow, look how stoic this guy is. He's going against all these other things. And then just to get a certain crowd, I think that was a bad move. That's
So I'm
also
just saying,
something that a lot of companies do nowadays, is this virtue signaling. How wonderful can we be to all of these other audiences? And I think it's rather clear. Magic at this point, Wizards of the Coast, doesn't really care about what was their most base audience. The long-term players and collectors, they don't really care about them the way it seemed like they used to. And this is just another extension of that. It's just another way that they can get in new people.
but here's the thing: the new people in this particular case, it's not like they're going for a new avenue like Kaldheim, where it's like a weird Viking. Okay, not Viking with Kaya and the what's his name, the Nico. Okay, I don't know how that fits into Norse mythology, but cool. This is a well-established IP, and you're trying to lure in the people from that well-established IP that are fans of that well-established IP, and then you're going to tinker with it. Right? So now you've pulled in Lord of the Rings people, and they buy the product, and they open the product and go, what? This is not something I recognize. I'm supposed to be pulled in for something I recognize.
What if the original...
What if they made One Punch guy, One Punch Man, like, I'm selling this set, and because I want to bring in new people, I'm going to change One Punch Man to a white American girl. Like, people would be like, what the fuck? That's not this dude. You may not care, but again, Matt, it's not about you. They're trying to bring new people into Magic that love Lord of the Rings, and then they're going to alter the IP that they're supposed to be baiting them in. It's like a bait and switch.
Right.
It's just the same as you being angry about it and not liking it. There's also X amount of people that love that they did that. I guarantee you there's a ton of people that love that they did that. We met one of the guys at Magic.
More that hate it than like it. Period. And there's lots of people that were boycotting. It's not a gaming Bob take. My point was they were trying to sucker people in and then change by the IP alone and then change them. Imagine if they changed Mickey Mouse to an alligator. Hey, we have Disney set, but now Mickey Mouse is an alligator instead of a mouse. It's jolting to the people that you're trying to entrench and bring into it.
Skin tone shift. You're like changing what the core identity of the card. The skin tone does not identify what a character is.
That's my opinion. That they failed hard on trying to drag new people in based on the IP and then go changing the IP on them. So
gender changes is a bit more.
We love you anyways, Benson.
I mean, be mad at me, but yes, I see it. I'm watching chat. I don't always respond. Love all of you in chat, by the way. So
I gotta say, I do agree with Bob though that Jumpstart is probably one of the best ways, also in my opinion, the best ways to get a new player into Magic. And a couple of reasons. You get to open packs instead of a sealed commander deck where there's no variation, there's no randomness. You're just opening up a sealed product. Money. But with Jumpstart packs, you at least get that pack opening experience twice over. And it's got everything you need to get a variation as well. So it could be something totally different. So you get that mild aspect of, hey, it's almost like I'm building a deck. Oh, I could see these other things. And they're usually really simple mechanics. And I think, honestly, as bad as a product line as they are, the shit tack on Jumpstarts are probably one of the best ways for a new player to get in. Like Dominaria United Jumpstart, like one of the real shit ones, because they are so underpowered. There's nothing really over the top. There's no fancy mechanics. It's just the most base stuff to get somebody into it. And I think that's probably one of the easiest ways, in my opinion, to get a new player in.
Sure. If I wasn't going to teach in Commander Raids, I would absolutely say, just like remote people, Jumpstart. Try starting there. Like, if I walked into an LGS and they're like, hey, can you recommend, something? I'd be like, Jumpstart. That's where I'd start. And I would start with the original Jumpstart.
Why do they keep lowering the number of packs in a fucking? Have Jumpstart always had 18?
No,
No,
it was
If
24
18,
originally.
Lord of the Rings is
24?
18.
Yeah,
Why? I just don't understand.
which
It's
is
so
really
annoying.
dumb. Like
It's
18,
so hard to find that
because
it's
It,
18.
it doesn't even fall into their like play
Yeah.
structure when you drop down to 18. 24 was right with the way they said you're supposed to play like at a tournament, like if you were to take it to an LGS.
yeah,
Now
you
you have
have
an
two
odd number
pods.
of like if you do the elimination rounds, it's like, wait,
Now it's
what?
9
It doesn't
people.
work out now.
Because what is it? It's 2 packs per player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's 9 people per box. That's a
Yes.
weird. You have to
Yeah.
open 2 boxes in order to do a
Yes.
18-man tournament.
Right. It's like I
Obviously
said,
that's what they want.
I think that they tried to
Yeah.
get. I said this before. We did this analysis when they dropped to 18. I'm like, it's the hot dog versus bun count. You know,
I didn't know
I don't have
I
an
didn't
even
know
amount.
they-
Well, now I gotta get more. I got 2 hot dogs left over. Shit. Now I gotta
It's
get
like-
more buns. Shit. Now I have 6 leftover buns. I gotta get more hot dogs. Damn it! I never seem to catch up.
Now we need to have 48 hot dogs and buns for dinner. Yeah.
Right.
Same
It's
thing
like
with Commander Masters.
terrible.
I'm like constantly surprised that the packs are less every time. It's ridiculous. Like
Well,
they keep changing it.
for that though, I was surprised that they were full. I think it's 36 booster packs for the draft, isn't it?
nope.
It's
For
24.
Commander
36.
Masters?
It's
Nope,
36
24.
for the draft. It's 24.
Oh, is it
for
draft
the set.
36? I thought they said 24.
Yeah, the draft is 36. Set is 24.
Yeah.
Which is
So
why
those ones
Rudy
they
was
did
freaking out
before.
about draft. He was like, "Draft is such a good deal. There's 36 packs."
Although
Although
it's
I'm
not
looking at it right now and it says 24.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure it's 24. I was about to go fact check you.
I'm fact checking myself, and it says 24
Right.
on TCG, but I swear it used to be 30. It was 36 as a set.
No, it was never 36. It was 24. And the reason being is it's a commander set, just like Commander Legends and Baldur's Gate, where you have 24 and you draft with 3 packs per.
But I swear somebody said these were 20. These were 36.
Okay, well, no.
Whatever. It says 24 on the site, so I don't know.
right.
At any rate, $300 is high. Although it has been
ridiculous.
plummeting. What did it start at? It started at
No.
it was
that's about
308.
what they
Never
were.
mind. It's just it shows a big dip, but it's a big dip of $7. So it's not really a big dip.
Yeah,
So
I'm
what is
not
it
going to
called?
wait.
What's getting
$300
far more
for a fucking
appealing to me
booster box of this.
is looking at the draft boxes of Double Masters 2022. So if you want to rob hot take on a product that at least has me pseudo interested, because I regret not buying more boxes at the $235 price point when I bought them, and I still haven't cracked my 2 boxes I have. And I'll tell you what, I think that all in all, when we end up looking over the last couple of years, you're going to say Modern Horizons 2, Double Masters 2022 are the juiced sets, and I think that they're underpowering this. People are hoping that Commander Masters, and so I'm going to answer to a degree. Now I'm going to get into tinfoil hat theory here, time.
Uh-oh.
To answer
we're not
Brian
ready.
Dow's question about why we're not seeing spoilers. I had thought about that, and I agree with Pat more than anything. I don't give a shit because I'm kind of unenamored.
Well, here's another
I
thing,
don't-
real quick. The release date, we're in Gen Con.
So
a lot of our money's going towards other things. Like a lot of your money's going towards Lorcana.
did you plan
a
on
lot
buying
of
it
my money-
anyways? I didn't.
Commander Masters, if the price was right, yeah, I would have for sure.
All right, what's
It's
the
so high.
anyway? We'll get back to what are the right prices.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
why
yeah,
we're
go-
not getting spoilers? Two reasons. Number one, quite frankly, I think that they're doing their best to not cut Lord of the Rings off at the knees because it's doing well. I think they want it to sell through and they want to see where it
for
goes
sure.
without
Yeah,
leaking
I
them. So
agree.
I do think it is suspicious. I did notice that. I'm like, well, they've been spoiling sets, like months ahead of time for
Yeah.
years. And now you're sort of tight-lipped. So it does lead credence to that idea that they intentionally leak or let leaked spoilers from other sets.
Yeah.
So I think that the conspiracy theorists on that might hold more water now. The second reason I'm going to say why I don't think that they want to spoil more is because people are buying boxes right now for Commander Masters. I think if they go in buying into the hype, sight unseen, we don't know what's in the set. People are going to be dropping these prices. And I'll be honest, I don't know that they have more juice than what they've already shown. And if that's the juice, what they've shown already, this set's in serious trouble. very serious trouble. It will not support those prices. I still say that Lord of the Rings can't support the prices people are paying for it already. Expect a bigger drop, folks. I expect by next year,
Yeah, and
people will
I
look back
think
at Lord
that
of the Rings and go,
absolutely,
"Ooh."
you know, over $400 for a collector booster box of Lord of the Rings is kind of ridiculous, even though there was like a huge chase.
I'll be honest with you. I think that the
I
draft box.
pre-bought 2 cases.
Well, but he has a different thing, and he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
no offense, but Twiddler markets to the addicts, and addicts are going to buy regardless. And if that's what
Yeah,
you're going to
right.
rely on, then it can't sustain because addicts will run out of money.
Yeah, it's hey
it's
man,
selling-
the price of
Commander
crack's
Masters
going
is
up,
selling
but
well.
they're still addicts.
Okay,
Commander
and they haven't
Masters is
spoiled it,
selling
right? We don't even really know what's
exactly.
in it, but it's selling well, right?
Yeah,
What
I
if they
mean,
tell
what?
us that Jewel Lotus
Dragon,
is the big dog? The
Yeah.
Dragon
like-
and Jewel
it's
Lotus
like-
are the big ones. To be like, oof.
It looks like 10 to 20 boxes per day for set boosters.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I again, this is going to be
Just
a.
2 dice in the alleyway. Just
I think we're still in the party phase, right? That we haven't hit the hangover phase yet. And when we do, as a large community, and people can no longer listen to you, Matt. Like you finally just. I was so proud of you on this show tonight, and I almost want to mark this fucking day on the calendar. You said, "Well, reprints are a problem." You've been arguing me tooth and nail. No, print them all, reprint them, print more, make them 5 cents a card. This is the first time I heard you say it publicly. That reprints are a problem.
I like reprints, but I agree that they're doing them wrong. And I agreed, I think previously. I still think the things should be printed. I still don't think things should be over $100. I think no card should be over 100. I mean, except for the collector shit. Whatever. You want a serialized card, sure. Like the actual the lowest physical play piece of a card. I think even Flesh and Blood is doing this wrong. I don't think that Findel's tunic should be $200. I think they should reprint it again and reprint it again until it's an accessible piece to where, and maybe make it even worse. Maybe make it like I don't know how you make it worse than white bordered, but I don't know, it's $200 still. It's just in order to get into competitive.
I know how to make them worse
Flesh
than
and
white
Blood,
bordered.
Collector's edition.
No, get Richard Kane Ferguson to illustrate them.
Yeah, right. Make it absolutely just like unreadable.
Some people love
art.
his art, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
that was a low blow, and it was a joke. But it's okay. Then get kids to make the art at the dying kids in hospital.
That might work. Some crayons.
But again, I think we're still in the party phase that we have not yet accepted as a wider community that this is terrible. This is a terrible model to sell $200 boxes and get $100 in value. Or like I did, a $95 Commander Baldur's Gate box and get $21 in value. Or like you and I, Matt, and I can tell you right away, when we opened those boxes from Rudy at $89 a piece, and we're like, you did not look happy about the experience.
I got one more box to open.
I'm just saying, you can't keep doing this in mass and expect people to keep buying. You'll kill the game.
Yeah.
Maybe that box has $400 in value. You don't know.
Sure. Cool. Go for it. Open it. Prove me
I
wrong.
guess I would need, let's see. Yeah, I would need like 120, maybe 140 to break even, because I remember I got like 60 in one box and like 50 in the other.
I got like 30 in mine. It was like
your
20,
box
20
was your box was a struggle box.
And it was out of the same case that you bought.
Rough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That box has to have all the juice because we didn't pull a single Atraxa out of 5 boxes. Yeah. We pulled no Atraxas out of 5 boxes. That's
I did get one Elish Norn, 2 Mondrax.
Where's the Atraxa?
No Atraxa. I didn't open an Atraxa in any of the 5 complete bundles.
Yeah,
and that's
saying.
Pretty high chance to hit. I didn't open her in either of the 2 boxes. She's in that box. That's where she is, Matt. You should open it right now. Show me wrong. She's in there.
I don't know. I don't know if
while Wizards, we're chatting, I'll show you if I get an Atraxa.
In some way, I think Wizards does kind of reduce the value intentionally of some cards. Like they want to make some stuff cheap all the time for players.
I'm going to correct you on that. Not some stuff, all stuff. Once a card hits like $50 in value, it makes their radar of, let's reprint that Joker. Dockside Extortionist.
Yes.
Ragavan.
He's right here. I found her.
Found it.
Did you open the box? Yep. Well, there it is. Congratulations on losing money.
Well, yeah, we'll just keep chatting. I'll let you know if I find. No, yeah, it's fine. Act like it's not happening.
So,
I'm really good
we're
at
still in the
opening
party
these.
phase,
Bob
and I
knows
think-
this. I'm really good at opening these fucking lamps.
What are those at? That's the Blackleaf Cliffs.
I think they're like $3. I don't know. I remember them being like super cheap.
They were like $20-something before that set, and now they're like $3.
And if you mean something like Imperial Seal, how it used to be hundreds of dollars, and now
Thousands.
it's notably less than that.
Like
If you
$70
mean,
is the lowest Imperial Seal.
Intentionally crashing a card, I don't think that that's the intention. I think that's a byproduct of them trying to sell shit.
Cash in. They're
Yeah,
cashing in is what
exactly.
they're doing. They're not trying to crash it. They're trying to get the money out of it before you do.
Right. I think they would love if the cards stayed expensive and they could print a bunch of the product. Like, oh yeah, we want cards to be $500, but we also want to sell you boxes that are hundreds of dollars. Ooh.
Boy,
Yeah.
I look. Conduit of Worlds a great card.
What is
that's
that
a
one?
hit in my book. It's Conduit of Worlds.
Oh,
How
yeah.
much is that card?
I don't know. I just know it's a good card. Conduit of Worlds a great card. I don't know if it's actually worth a ton of money, but I just like it as a good card.
Currently going for a foil at $3.20.
Hell yeah, broke even on that pack.
I'm seeing it $2.72.
Like Obula and
it was a foil.
Imperial
I don't know if
Seal
that.
took forever.
No, I'm looking at the foil for that listing. It says $2.72 plus 99 cents shipping.
Oh yeah. I'm just on MTG stocks.
Oh, that's
It's always a bit high.
All right, you're up to $3, but
Hell
you're gonna have to pay shipping. But
Yeah, right. Fucking
some
A,
Twilight.
even stamps are so
oh my
expensive.
god!
Hey, what up, Solar God? Man, we've had a lot of action tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. We
You people
super
must be
appreciate it.
bored, desperate for some Magic news, and I am so sorry that I'm just really not digging as hard as I have been in the past.
That's a good hit.
Now, that's a
Scrolled
hit
in
I would
foil.
like.
Yeah, that's a
But
good one.
I mean, it's probably like $2, but
Really? I think Skrulv is actually being used in quite a few decks. I can imagine it's worth a couple bucks, I mean, especially foil.
Right.
Well, then again, the problem with foils nowadays is like I have to admit, a lot of people keep saying I don't agree with the statement, but I agree with the valuation. Yeah, a lot of people keep saying that if everything's special, then nothing's special. I disagree. I think that if there's too many special things of the specials, then it's a problem. Like when there's a full art, non-full art, special edition, Mondrak edition, foil extra flippy edition. Like if there was just two versions of the card, then the one version you pull would actually be worth something.
I agree with that. Overdoing it, they're Watsifying it is the term.
Yeah,
that
they
I throw out
definitely
there.
they love to Watsify things. I like special versions of cards.
So, do you want to know what that Skrulv is going for currently in foil?
I'm gonna guess $3.62.
$3.50. Good guess.
I was really close.
Yeah.
So that's a
pretty
hit. You consider less than the
I
price
made
of the
more than the box, right? What is I paid 82 for the box. There's 32 packs. in the box,
82.
right?
I thought he was selling them 89.
Whatever. 80. What? 80, all right, fine. 89. 89 divided by 36. We're looking at $2.47 a box or a pack. That's a win.
Okay.
I made a buck.
Cool.
Hell yes.
Until you have to pay
Twitter
taxes.
chiming in here. Players complained about card prices, so they created master sets with tons of reprints, crashing card values, knowing they'd sell tons of packs of reprints. Geniuses.
I
really
actually agree with that statement for somebody who's extremely short-sighted. Yes, genius. We cash in
as
that equity.
the CEOs and stuff.
Upper line gorge. Let's go.
Like, oh, that's genius move for today. We don't give a shit about profits. 2 years from now, we may not exist. Let's just burn it all, baby. That's like somebody at the casino that says, you know what? Let's just draw everything out of my ATM and throw it all on the tables. We may not be here in 5 years. And that's what they're doing.
Well, and I think that's a really good example of how a lot of corporate officers actually do work. Oh, snap.
All right. Ellis Norn. I can't
Hey,
complain
at
with
least
that.
it's in English.
What is she down to
Honestly,
now?
I'm not a fan of
Still $20.
Phyrexian cards because I don't know what the fuck it says.
Was that Phyrexian?
No, that was
Oh.
a standard American.
I think she's $40, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've looked at it.
No.
She's good. Mommy Norn is nice.
20.
$25. So she still is like at that 20. Wow,
Hell
dude.
yeah, I'm really
you know what
good
I
at
just
Dual
saw?
Lands.
Have you guys looked at Grand Cenobite price? Talk about tank in the face. Woo!
Who?
Since the beginning of May, it's gone from $40 a piece to down to 20. It's actually showing 15.
Who?
The OG or Elish Norn.
Oh,
God bless. What happened there?
And
That thing fell off the cliff.
Michael Superbacker, I don't know if Bob is, but I am. I actually just picked up a Collective Voyage, like an actual card. Yeah. Because it's so freaking good. I wanted one.
it's pretty good. I like the idea of going into. So this is what I did. Okay, there's one card that I'm collecting, and if you're a viewer and you have this at home, I want yours. I'm going to show you. It's real quick. Let me grab it.
He wants a minion token. So if
He
you
wants
have one,
the tokens. Yeah.
This is the only binder of cards that I have of Magic. This is it. You ready for it? It's a bit of a meme.
Waiting for Vintage
Oh.
Masters.
you can't
to
read
Tybalt, Tybalt the yeah you can Tybalt the Fiend. This is a shittier camera, but yeah, Tybalt the Fiend Blooded. I have
Just pages and pages of Tybalt. What the fuck? Why?
at the
even
time.
Is it even
No,
decent?
no. You don't have to look at what it does. So here's the thing: it's at the time. I think at the time it was the very first 2 mana costed Planeswalker that they ever printed, and
Okay.
they did one thing that made this card shit. Is that its +1 ability is draw a card? That sounds great. Then discard a card. That sounds great, right? 2 mana Planeswalker, insane. But then at the end of that sentence, that same sentence that you just draw a card, discard a card at random. That's what made him shit.
That's less good. That's notably less
at
good.
random.
Yeah. I'm
So
with you, Benson. That sounds like trash.
Yeah, OG Tybalt was trash, but that's the joke, I guess. I want to fill this binder. I have like half of it full of Tybalts. I want to like just naturally over the time, if somebody has a Tybalt, I want to trade them for it. If the card shop has one, I try to buy all of their Tybalts. I bought Kid Force's Tybalts. I'm like, how many Tybalts you got? And they were like, who? I'm like, Tybalt, the OG Tybalt. And then they looked and they had to like go find them. And then they were like, I got like 10. I'm like, I want them.
See, I'm kind of that way with the. I was collecting Twiddle just because I love the art, but beta Twiddles. Like I started a collection of beta Twiddles, and unfortunately, I only have like 5 or 7 beta Twiddles. Like the card.
I mean, I guess
So I'm a Twiddler too.
Like I have an actual sliver deck. It's it's the one deck that I actually like care about getting cool versions and like I pimp out and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely still a thing that I indulge in that part of the game for sure. But I also will just spend like $30-something on just getting a proxy deck because I don't want to buy
Omniscience for Tybalt.
Like, I'm not going to spend money on buying 32 Relentless Rats. Like, that's really fucking dumb. I'm not that guy. Like,
I think Culling the Weak is actually a great card. I mean, I think that
fantastic.
card never got its due. I think Culling the Weak is an amazing card.
What? It's used in like every CEDH deck that uses black. It's used
Okay,
a lot
but
in
all right,
CEDH.
it never got like expensive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
And that's why. Like it's a baller card for what it does, and it can go in a lot of EDH. It can go in a lot of EDH decks. It doesn't have to be CEDH. It's a really good card.
yeah, it is.
I don't know why it never got its due financially speaking. Let me put it that way. It might be recognized. So is what's that blue card from Midnight Hunt? The one casting cost draw blue card. Oh damn it. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. There's only like 3 good cards in the whole set. What's that?
Not I, said Pat.
Hold on. I'll get there. I'm slow, but I get there.
Yeah, for sure. Culling the Weak should be like way more expensive than it is. And there's only one printing of the card.
Is it unreserved?
No.
What?
Which is like weird.
No, it's from Strixhaven.
No,
Culling the Weak is from
Weak.
Strixhaven?
Pretty sure. I could be wrong. Am I wrong?
Calling the Week
Yeah,
is old card.
there's only one printing of Calling the Week.
Culling the Week. No, sorry, that's from Exodus.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the culling ritual. My bad.
Okay, yeah. Calling the Week is the one singular, or no, it's a black and a colorless, and you
No,
it's a
it's
black. You have
one
to sack a
black,
creature.
sack
Yeah,
a
it's
creature,
one black
add
sack,
4
Yeah,
black.
and you get
Four
four
black
black.
men. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
great.
Calling
it's only-
Ritual is the black green double colorless, destroy all non-land permanents.
That one,
of
I'm sorry,
3 or
guys.
less, and you get a green mana equal to its cast, or equal to how many things you destroy, which is also a really good card.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking about. So sorry. Probably why you were like, "What are you talking about? The card's fucking great and it gets all kinds of recognition." And
What's weird
for
is that
common,
That's
it's
what I was
super
saying.
good.
I'm like, it's in like Calling the Week is
My bad. My bad. I was thinking of the wrong culling.
only printing in the card. It's not
Exodus.
on reserve list. It's legal
it's
in
common.
a bunch of
it's
stuff.
coming in Commander Masters.
It's not legal in Modern though, which is
Oh, I bet it's coming in Commander Masters.
I hope so. It's a great card.
legal in Commander.
So if you have them, might not be a bad idea to.
How was it always so cheap? This was like ridiculous. It's just recently like kind of
It's
spiked, I guess.
I think it's because Commander got more popular. CDH definitely is. It's a staple in CDH.
It's dropping off right
Consider-
now.
Sword of Forge and Frontier. Is this still $20?
No, I don't think so. Hold on. But the card I was thinking about in Midnight Hunt is Consider.
Oh yeah.
Consider's used in not Grixis. Is it Dex?
This is
I mean,
definitely dropping off
so I
a
just
lot.
want to say Consider's used in a lot of different things. That
Bob loves this card. This is Bob's favorite card.
oh, fuck off. I've actually watched that card do work though. I was watching
There we go.
He
Kevin
pulled like
G.
3 or 4 of the oil slicked versions of these from his bundle.
Just 2, but I got 2 of the
Oh.
oil slick foils, and then I got a full art one in like the pack.
They're worth like $3 or some shit. They're like really super low.
Mm.
Oil slicked, I really like oil slicked. I kind of wish you could get like a random oil slicked, like 1 per box maybe from drafts. That'd be cool.
I wish they would just only make draft and put like whatever super crazy version, a hyper rare card in draft packs. Period. Then I'd be happy. Like everybody gets a shot at it, just like you did in old school, and you only had one product to buy to cure the confusion.
Oh,
Cut
kind
back,
of like
yeah.
what do they call it? Flesh and blood? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that you have a shot. Everybody feels they have a shot at it because by segregating the SKUs, you end up segregating your community, and you make people feel like Brian Giles has said before that it's a product that I just can't, even if I want to engage with it, I just can't. And that is a bad. You're pitting people in the community against each other essentially, the haves and the have-nots. Because then you give the lucky golden ticket if you go back to the single product, saying make the same amount of cards, make the same things, but just put them all in draft boxes at a much more rare rate. I think that would be a positive step.
It seems a lot of people are enjoying this sorcery game. I haven't actually watched much about it.
Don't. It's shit. I think people are overhyped about the art, and they're like, "Oh, the art's so good." And then Rudy last night was like opening packs of cards, and he would get to a foil, and he'd be like, "My God, the text is raised! It's insane! Whoa!" And I'm like,
I'm
"Dude."
gonna come.
I'm like, I don't get the maybe Bob. You're
Okay.
older. It does the art of
Thanks for that.
well,
Sure.
no, because what I'm saying is you grew up with the old school art, growing up opening the packs, and that's what people are like grabbing onto nostalgia with. They're like, the art's like it reminds me of the old days, like it's so nostalgic, it's so retro. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like the art.
I don't like old school Magic art mostly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's horrible. I would say some of the art looks good, but like,
but some of the newer art's complete fucking trash too. Like
Sure.
the faithless looting from Mystical Archives and most Richard Kane Ferguson art and anything that they go like half of the what are they called the multiverse legends out of March of the Machine. I think half of those look like trash. To be honest with you, as much as I hate saying this, the
I
oil
agree
slick
with
they're too dark. I don't like the black and
I
white
love the
version of the thing.
lands. Oil slick lands are like fire.
This actually reminds me of D&D art more than anything.
Yeah, this doesn't
Yeah,
look
like
bad.
this-
It's just I don't
This
get it.
Doomsday device, this looks just like a page of a really good D&D manual or something. You know, even with like the stuff in the text box. This isn't.
Oh, go for it. I mean, it's look. There's as far as like game playability, the only like card game I want to play is Magic, and I only want to play it in Commander Raids, like actual play. For collectability, Lorcana has my interest more than anything else, and that's where my money is.
I have
It's great
watched
that the quality is excellent, but I just don't have room in my life for sorcery. I just don't.
watched
Flesh
hours
and
of
Blood is a
sorcery
very
gameplay. I don't get
Flesh
it.
and Blood is like tertiary on my list at the moment. So I mean, besides the outside of the box being really appealing and really reminds me of old school Magic on the outside of the box, the cards themselves don't remind me of it.
The people
it's
that I
great
watched
the quality
play it,
is
like
good, but
when they
that's-
played
that's
Alpha Clash, I immediately wanted to play Alpha Clash. When they played this, I'm just like, I don't. All they keep Google Gaga over is the fucking art, and I actually think the Alpha Clash art is cooler to me. It's different because it's like superhero, and I've never played a superhero card game, so I'm like, this is kind of cool, different.
Yeah, Matt and I had a conversation about a D&D style game of superheroes and stuff. And then to see this come out, you know, it definitely has a very unique art style, and they have so much that they could use as inspiration, you know, from Marvel to DC to so many independent creators and stuff. I gotta say, I don't like the look of this art. It's very like pencil drawn kind of a look.
I'll
Not-
say
not-
Clarify, that full art Clarify looks extremely good in person.
Hmm.
The one on the left, yeah, that one. That one looks
Oh,
very good. I
Clarity.
actually have that one. Is it Clarify or Clarity?
Clarity.
Oh, Clarity, whatever. I have that one. That one looks good. In the iconic super rare version.
I would make a
Bob
terrible
Kingdom.
game. I appreciate that, Benson. That's kind of you. But I'll say this. I mean, I've played. If I'm going to play a superhero card game, in all honesty, I'm probably going to play either Marvel Champions, which is a card game, or I'm going to play Legendary Marvel because I like the Legendary system. So there are comic book hero deck games that are out there already, have been. I love deck builders.
Yeah, I'm just saying
I do
I've
love
never
deck
played them.
builders.
This is the only one I've ever played. Very
So
good, by the way.
that appeal
I
is
think
like,
Alpha
I mean,
Clash is
it's not terrible, but again, you know, I've already only so much room in my catalog anymore for what I can play. I look longingly at all the board games and shit around my house that I don't get to play because you don't get the time.
I have a bookshelf. Oh, my brain is not functioning. Boom, bookshelf. There's a bunch of different board games on there that I've never played. I just bought them at a flea market and just haven't got around to playing it yet. There's also not just that bookshelf. There's behind this wall. There's like underneath my stairs. I've also got another stack of board games that I just haven't been able to play.
You guys are funny tonight in chat. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
That's what we need. We need more community interaction with good humor and laughing at a time that is like
you guys
kind
are
of bad
wonderful.
for Magic.
Yeah.
But you know, as bad as it is for Magic, you know, Flesh and Blood is doing just fine. There's no like doom and gloom for Flesh and Blood. No.
Mer.
There needs to be a mutual fund card. That's what you pay for all your supplies with, is investing in mutual fund, and then your ramp is Roth IRAs. You know, that's the resource cards that you'd have in Bob Kingdom.
And
But,
land, instead of like land, it's like houses. You like place a house for your resources.
Yeah,
Sure.
right. I buy real estate. Yeah. I'm looking for
that entire box. So we bought an entire case and we did not pull one single Atraxa. What is up?
Well, I
with
still
that?
have my one box left.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm not opening it.
I opened mine because I can still, if
You
I
will,
really wanted
you
to
will
replace
forever
it.
have to wonder if the Atraxa is in my box.
Wild. I don't know what cards are worth anything in this set besides Elish Norn and the sword. So I made what, $30?
No, Ellis Norn's 25, the sword's 9, and you had 2 350.
Not great. Not great.
I don't know
about
what
55
I
bucks.
pulled other cards. I just don't know. I'm gonna go. I'll go.
Sure.
Go
Go
MTG
scan 'em.
Goldfish and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for
More
it.
chit-
And then the
more chit-chat.
relatively, you lose about 15% in shipping, handling, taxes, all that kind of stuff. But sure.
No, you just don't count that. Just ignore it.
Okay. You can ignore it. I actually have to pay my taxes because I don't want to
What do you
knock on
mean
the door.
13% sellers fees? I've never heard of such a thing, Bob.
Yeah, just don't. Just say you're
What?
profitable, even if you're not.
Okay. You're profitable even if you're not. There, I said
There
it.
you go. Now you're doing. Nice. See, you're cooking with
Yeah, I'm
oil.
drinking the Kool-Aid that other people are. It's like, okay, cool.
Speaking
It's funny how much
of,
I get
I'm
bashed for
literally
like being
drinking
so negative
Kool-Aid.
just by pointing out obvious facts. It's like, you're so negative. I just pointing out what things are, not really.
I'm only negative because they're putting out shit products at an unbearable that's
I'm just calling it like I see it. It's not like
Now hold on. They're not shit products. There's things they're doing wrong, but Lord of the Rings is not a shit product.
Are you saying Aftermath was a
I
good
agree. I agree
product?
that Lord of the Rings is not a shit product. And if the draft boxes were at like $130, I'd probably buy a couple just so we could try it in a draft environment. I know that would,
I think
grill
they
your
do put
bacon,
out
but-
a lot of shit products, though, Matt. I mean, Aftermath,
Um,
the whole thing, I think that was just
That was a
neutering
shit
like
product.
the larger set. They just were able to chop some of it off and sell it to people again. And I'm glad it didn't work out very well.
Well, I'll
Both
say this:
Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, turning that into double feature. What the fuck? Like literally,
Double feature
you're
was
just
a shit product.
grayscaling and reselling us the cards. Not
Double
cool,
feature,
bro.
I agree with this. I agree. Double feature was a shit product. I'll agree with that.
I think that's the only product we've ever like reviewed and bashed together on stream.
We immediately destroyed
Immediately.
that
It
product.
was before
Okay,
release.
so that's gonna
It was
be
like-
like our April Fool's video for next year. Is us doing like a retrospective on double feature and just going over the board on how great it was, and we'll
Do a
only do
box
it for
opening of it. I'm like, this set's
Oh my
amazing.
God, this looks incredible. Oh my God. Look, it goes from gray to gray. Incredible definition. Wow. And look at the curl on this. It's really nice, like a Pringle. I love
that
it. It's
card
almost
stands
like
out in your deck.
It's like a
These
textured
are pretty,
card.
These are actually pretty flat, but I mean, it's just open. But
So at any rate, I mean, I don't want to just get on a full, bash train of WotC. I agree with Matt. They have their problems, but the problem I have is that they're not addressing it. They're not admitting it. It's like an alcoholic that doesn't admit that they have a problem, and that's where we are in the world of Magic at the moment, in my opinion. I mean, if you want to buy into the hype train and buy $400 boxes for $190 worth of cards,
AFR. Yeah,
cool.
Jesus Christ, AFR. Man, that would. As fun as it was to get all the creators together on DJ's channel, opening those boxes was a fucking
It wasn't
chore.
AFR. You're talking about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Commander Legends 2 Adventures in Forgotten Realms, Baldur's Gate.
That was
Electric.
that's a memory. That's a Magic memory I would just assume to forget.
I've got 3 set boxes chilling. Those are great.
That's one I would truly. I actually have draft boxes of it.
Keeping
I got them cheap enough. I don't remember what the price point was, but I got the draft boxes cheap enough that I do have Baldur's Gate. I do have draft boxes for that explicit purpose, but I had no intention of getting those at all for an investment purpose. I got them purely, strictly, so at some point I can draft and find out, was it really a product worth drafting? And I'll be honest with you. I would like to draft, especially if we can get in enough people, I would like to do a sealed Lord of the Rings pre-release kits. I think I found them for like $29 a piece over on Game Nerds. If you order them, if you get like $100 worth of products, it's no shipping and there's no taxes. So, pick them up over there. Pick up some products over there, and I'm not shilling for them. I like, that's one of my honey holes. And we'll go on Spell Table and we'll play it. If people are comfortable, we'll stream it. If not, we'll just do it in private. But I really enjoyed, especially I discovered it actually with Matt with the pre-release kits. What was the first one? Was it Strixhaven that we did it with, or was it Modern Horizons 2? I want to say it was Modern Horizons 2.
Modern Horizons 2, I think.
It was with you, me, Bobby Z. I don't remember who the fourth person was. But that was fun. Like, it really is. This is a fun way to play and engage with the product at a reasonable price point with almost every set that comes out. Get one of these pre-release kits, go on a Spell Table with 3 other people, and draft your deck. It's a long night. I think it took us over 4 hours, Matt, to play that night. It's just 4-player free for all. Sealed was absolutely a ball, and we can do that. And we talked about it with even older sets, as long as they're draft. You just get 6 packs of some set, whatever it is, and play it with your friends. I think that way, no matter what shit set it is, AFR, and I mean the original AFR, or Innistrad, or even Fallen Empires. Just you'll need more packs because they only have like 8 cards per pack. But it's just a fun way to engage with Magic. Because then you're not thinking about the value. I mean, you probably will a little bit, but it's not about the value, right? These people opening collector boxes that are 400 plus.
Yeah, it's definitely the chase for high price cards.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like you're only opening it to get the value out of it. That's the whole purpose of opening a collector box. It's not to get play pieces, it's to get value.
Yeah.
And that's just not a fun event at this point in the Magic vernacular.
Oh yeah, if you're expecting to lose value by opening packs and you're just ramping that up in dollar value, you're just going to be that much more disappointed. So it's like, I'm leaving my Double Masters 22 collector sealed because opening that shit at this point would just make me feel bad, even if I did pull a textured foil. It's like, it's still going to be a fucking loss on the box even. So it's just not worth it. It's more and more of my product from MTG staying sealed, but I'm definitely doing more flesh and blood opening stuff. I'm having a fun time with it, and they've got Dusk Till Dawn coming up next week. So
you heard it. Keep it sealed, folks. Even Pat's beginning to jump on the Bob train. Keep it sealed. Keep it sealed.
Yeah, there was a pre-sale from Dusk Till Dawn on the Rudy Patreon, and it sold out within about 15 minutes. I didn't buy any. I had planned to, but I forgot, and I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm not like too worried about it. I think the boxes will probably go down, but apparently there's only one print run of this. Like, it's already out of print before it's even printed because they have like the sketch cards inserted in them.
Yeah, they've got the serialized hand-drawn cards.
I am no longer buying any product because I might miss out.
I'm not. I would have bought it because it looks cool. The new Prism looks badass.
I'm just saying, I'm not buying any set, including Organa. I'm not buying anything because I might miss out on it. I'll wait. If I miss out on it,
don't FOMO on anything.
FOMO is they that is what they have truly targeted, was the FOMO. That's where we're at in Magic, and they're just gonna have to wait until they realize that, well, we milked that train a little too hard. So the hype train is.
And I think it'll be a while before they see that.
Sure, they still haven't really come to that. Like, they're doing everything they can to make their quarterly numbers look great. Even like the Lord of the Rings set. Sure, they did a lot of shimmy sham flim flam, but I'm going to tell you, in a year or two, the people that are sitting holding opened Lord of the Rings product are not going to be happy with what they spent on it.
Yeah, I'd say I probably agree with you on what they spent on it. Probably, yeah. Unless they're a huge collector. But even then, yeah, no, the price on like that foil borderless one ring that's in every goddamn bundle being $50, it just makes no sense. And if people are paying those prices now, I think they'll end up kicking themselves in the butt a month down the road for having paid that price. And same thing. I think
it's down to $42, but it's still high.
Okay, and when the modern community adapts and starts playing, All Is Dust and those kind of things in their decks instead, Oblivion rings.
Yeah, we'll start seeing, a lot more exile effects just in general, which is kind of good. Shakes up the metas a bit, what people are putting in their average builds. But it's also just a pretty solid card. It is good. I'm glad it's good. Imagine if they had made it super low powered.
Be awesome.
I mean, I don't think it's overpowered. I'll be honest.
I don't think it's overpowered. I think it's just pretty juiced up. It's good. It's solid. Seems very effective.
So my box equates to like
that's gonna be the chase card, Benson.
55-ish. And that's with pulling the best card in the set.
It'll be a serialized 1 of 1 Shimmy Sham Flim Flam.
Shimmy Sham Flim Flam.
Can't wait to open the Shimmy Sham Flim Flam.
Right? You'll be hunting it in my collector boxes. No, I mean it's unfortunate we're there, and we just need to hang on. I'm still here. Like I'm still doing Magic stuff. I'm
Very
just
happy.
the way that I am engaging with the product is to sit tight. I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't think it's a time to sell. I don't agree with selling off Magic cards. I think the wheel turns, as the wheel will, and eventually things come back around, and you'll be happy to have the cards that you have. Now, if you've been opening in mass, well, then shame on you.
Unless you hit it big,
But
then congrats.
you have to hunker down. Just like when a hurricane blows through, you got to let it blow its energy out, and that's where we're at. And I have a feeling that we'll see a change in management, and you'll have like, oh my God, we did this to the company. Yeah, no shit. Like, I don't think it takes a genius to see it, and it will happen. I'll take monetary bets on that. I don't know what the time frame is, but it'll happen. To me, it's an eventuality. It's an ultimate extrapolation of a series of events. I love you too, Prime. However, it's just going to take time, and I'm going to be here. I'm holding on to my Magic stuff, not panic selling anything off. I'm not selling singles to get ahead of it, even if they reprint them and they go down. You know what? I paid whatever 25 cents a piece for my singles, right? Because I opened most of them, and I don't open a tremendous amount. So hunkering down, holding on to it. My sealed is still worth what it is sealed, mostly draft, because I want to potentially draft with it in the future. So, and I've always advised those things. Don't buy any of it that you're not happy being stuck with, right? Buy your products that you truly want to engage with, not because you want to engage with it to try to make money, not that you want to try to flip it, not that you want to chase the hype, but buy the products that, like I said, like I bought I think it's a complete shit value that I got out of the Baldur's Gate, whatever it is I paid for it, $90 a box, whatever I paid, doesn't matter. I think it's a shit value for value's sake, but its value to me is in the playability of the box. Just like when I told Pat to crack, hey, take your Commander Legends box and instead of cracking them for value, take it over to your buddy's house, play it the way it was designed. I think you'll get more value out of it that way.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad we had that experience and got to do exactly that. It was a phenomenal time having a Commander Legends draft. Like that's one of the best parts of Magic is sharing it with friends instead of like just me sitting down and just going through like an addict trying to, scratch that itch. Yeah, going out and playing with people is definitely what gets me still into the game, which is exactly why I like proxying cards, because I get exactly the stuff I want. I can build my decks. I don't feel bad about spending, a low price on it. I get to have a cheap buy-in. I get to play with my friends, and they're all doing the same things or doing those slips of paper inside of their sleeves. Like, we're a very low impact pod. So I think that for me, yeah, I'm definitely still having a lot of fun playing Magic. I mean, shit, I cooked up that Sauron themed raid monster just because it's fun shit to do. Like, yeah. And that's something that I look forward to doing for new sets as they come out. Maybe I'll do some weird Candyland thing for the Wilds of Eldraine because they're doing some, very storybook driven stuff. That'd be fun. I look forward to how I'm going to interact with Magic. And unfortunately for them, it's just not going to be $350 fucking set boxes of Commander Masters. That's stupid to me.
You gonna make a pirate riding a dinosaur boss for Ixalan?
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that would be awesome. It's all gonna be Jurassic Park themed or something.
Well, you need to have what's his name? Dockside Extortionist riding Itali.
It's so cheap. That's what, like $11? That's maybe $12 per pack.
No, that would be 144.
Yeah, that's why I like hemmed and hawed. You want me to get down to coins? I'm not doing that. Plus shipping and taxes.
Okay, April 15th or 17th. So at that time it was $139.38. Bob, do you remember a year ago from April? I put something in my calendar.
No. What'd you put?
Check
Remember you and
AFR.
I made a bet. Check AFR price for Bob bet. 300. I bet that it was going to be $300. And then if I was wrong, I owe you a box of standard draft.
Nah, you're fine. Don't worry about it. That's like taking candy from a baby.
My assumption was that it was gonna have one of those what is it, cat bounce? We're just gonna just like skyrocket back up in price.
Can you show the 1 year graph?
It doesn't look any different. It just looks the same. It's just a,
God, it got down to $115 a box.
Yeah, I'll say at a certain point it was 115. I guess it looks
and
worse.
I still didn't buy it.
I think I have one. I bought one up. It's up there somewhere.
I have none.
I have one.
I have one draft box of AFR, and that's it. I have the commander decks.
I don't think I have any of it here. No,
I think I have.
I don't have any of that shit.
The commander decks actually did really well. If you look at the commander deck set out of that set, they're actually doing well.
So, Matt, do you still have that page? So,
yeah.
I thought that's what you were describing the other night in our D&D campaign when we went into that forge room. I thought you were describing a beholder.
Yeah, so did I.
Instead of like this spectator thing that ended up being the.
Well, he named a certain number of stocks, and I did remember thinking, wait, I thought they had like 6 or 8.
It has 4, yeah.
I know, but the beholder I think has like 6 or 8.
Yeah, beholder is 8. But yeah, it is for all general purposes. I mean, it is, it's.
I did catch that. I was like, that's weird, but I didn't know there was such a thing as
beholder,
the helper or whatever it is.
This is called a spectator, like a baby beholder.
Yeah, it still looks like it definitely could have fucked us up. I feel.
No, it only had like
you
38.
You would have gotten it pretty easy.
Yeah, it has what is it? 39 hit points with AC of 14. Bob could like 2-shot this thing, and it doesn't have it doesn't have like the disintegration ray. It has like confusion ray, paralyzing ray, fear ray, wounding ray. Like it can do some damage, but like the odds were low. I mean, you guys
not like that damn skull.
Yeah, the Nezanar was great. Nezanar did pretty good too.
Oh yeah, the drow.
I disagree that it's doing well, Coach. We'll see.
MTG is an expensive hobby. It seems to be doing great in my opinion. The Lord of the Rings set is pretty awesome, and Commander Masters around the corners as well. Lots of fun, and some products could be okay investments.
I agree that it's lots of fun, and I agree that there are good cards from both sets. I have to imagine there's going to be good cards. We'll see, but
yeah,
I don't know about investments. I mean, if you open a box of Lord of the Rings right now, like you're like guaranteed to lose money unless you hit the lottery. So it's kind of like, is that a good investment? At 400,
I think the general idea for Magic though is that you're not supposed to open up the box and make money. Like that's an aberration. It shouldn't be your
breaking even or losing like 5 to 10%. But when I start losing,
that's not even fair for historical Magic.
Hey man, that
is not historically how Magic has been. It's been like you can expect on average a 20% loss throughout Magic's history, but it has gone absurd now. Now you're talking at 50% plus losses, 50 to 75% losses. That's just
so. It's funny, Benson.
I don't care who you are. That feels bad.
It's funny Benson brings this up. A buddy of mine, Marky Mark, big shout out, buddy, is looking at, buying some Magic cards and this and that. He actually got one of the non-serialized soul rings. So he was doing pretty good. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy into it. Can you suggest anything? I was like, index stocks. Realistically, what you should do is buy while all these companies in the stock market are going down. This was my suggestion to my friend, not to you guys in the audience. He's like, why would I do that? I was like, because honestly, Magic cards, they just keep fucking reprinting them, and there's no reason that they don't. More millionaires are made in times of distress in the economic market. So buy stocks while they're fucking cheap. Do it now. Like, BP's like $34. That's real cheap. Exxon, shit's on sale. Like
cryptocurrency. Let's go.
Right? Dogecoin. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've got
semiconductors ain't going out of style.
I got Shiba coin, I got Ethereum, I got Bitcoin.
So a couple of thoughts there. I agree with you that by and large, and most people in the audience are not at the point where I'm at with like my investment portfolio. When you So yes, let me start by saying index funds are definitely where it's at. Like if you want financial advice, don't listen to us. Go listen to Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett says if you want to be a millionaire, start at 20 years old, put like $10,000 into an index fund and let it sit for 40 years, and you'll be a millionaire. And that's exactly what the concept is. I invest most of my major net worth is in index funds. They're going to go up, they're going to go down, but over, the last 100 plus years, index funds, you can't beat it. What is an index fund? Index fund is a blending of lots of the top 500 stocks that follow, or it's a blending of stocks that follows what they call the Standard & Poor's or S&P 500 index. And that's where they monitor the top companies in the stock market. And if you just look at it, you can look at index funds, and that's where you start if you're a dummy like me. And it's actually been very, very good. Usually, like I think over its lifetime, it's been like a 15% return per year or a 15% return over the lifetime. At any rate, that's pretty good on your money.
Isn't a 401k basically mostly index funds for
No,
most people?
A 401k is wherever you want to put it. A 401k is all about the taxes, not about the investments that you buy with it. Right. You dictate where that money goes. But I don't know if we want to get into a financial investment stream, but okay. In essence, a 401k is a company match, right? What they did is they got rid of most pensions around the corporate world, and they realized that the Social Security funds are going to be bankrupt at some point. Yeah. So they're like, well, people got to support themselves at some point. So what they did is they gave a tax break to both you and your company. So instead of paying a pension, they can pay a match into a retirement fund for you. And a match means you're investing, and you absolutely should. If you work anywhere, the very first rule of investing is you invest in your 401k as much as your company will match at a minimum. Like if it's
I do
3%, you do 3%. If you do 6%, you do 6%. And I do 24% or 25%.
I can only do 20. It won't let me go any higher, but I just have it at 15 for now. But yeah.
Well, you can actually put more in. They just stop before the end of the year is how it works. But at any rate, what that is it is tax deferred, meaning you're putting the money in now and you don't have to pay taxes on it. It comes out of your pre-tax money from your paycheck. So that money's not taxed. It goes into the investment. So instead of having, I don't know what your taxes are, but it feels like I'm about 50% when you add up all the taxes. By the time you walk away, and I'm not even joking, with city, county, state, federal, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever the fuck. Like I look at my check and I don't even want to look.
Insurance, obviously health insurance,
dude,
all
crazy.
That. Yeah,
But instead of investing your take-home money like we do in Magic, it's pre-tax money that you get to invest, which is a double benefit because now your annual salary looks lower because it doesn't count towards your salary if you put it in your 401k. So you lower your tax bracket, right? So you're not even paying as high a percentage as you would if you were straight getting that money out of your paycheck. So by tucking it away, you're deferring those taxes till later in life. Right. So this whole time, even your take home money, you get more of it to invest in other things. 401k is simply a bank account with this pre-tax money that your employer will match to whatever extent. Then you have to talk to whatever firm that 401k is invested in, and then you choose where that money gets invested. I recommend, if you have it, index funds, but you got to look at all like low load index funds and low fees, any kind of maintenance fees. You want that kind of stuff. That really.
Look at my breakdown. It's 54% domestic stock, 35% foreign stock. So those are index funds, are they not?
No. Well, I mean,
Michael,
those sound like mutual funds.
They want all of your money.
Index funds are index funds. You have to go in. That sounds like when you break it down, it could be an index fund, but that sounds more like a mutual fund, which an index fund basically is, but it's a specific type of mutual fund. There are many types of mutual funds. Index funds.
I was having a conversation similar about like my niece. Last time I saw her, I think she was like 10 or so. And we were talking about taxes and how it was bullshit. And she's like, wow, I hope I never have to pay taxes. I was like, have you ever bought anything before, Hannah? She's like, yeah, I bought like, a toy and I buy my own, treat at the store. And I was like, you pay taxes. She's like, what? And I was like, was it 99 cents or was it $1.06? She's like, $1.06. I was like, you paid taxes, kid. Sorry to like break it to you, but they've been robbing you since before you ever knew it. It's a goddamn scheme.
I would laugh at that one, Benson, to be quite honest. But they've already like it doesn't matter what they do. They could turn anybody any color now, or any race, or any sexual orientation, or have Bilbo screw and build a pony. I don't care.
I
At
am
this point,
really
because
happy they made Frodo and Sam partners.
fine, cool. Like they've done everything that they can do that makes me just go,
It should have been friends forever. Why is it?
I'm not homophobic. I am not racist against black people or Asian people or whatever. It is that you have. I would be just as equally pissed if they took Teferi and turned him white. I'd be like, what the? Seriously? Why? Why would you need to do that? It's like I've accepted this character that I know and I like Teferi. I love the Teferi cards. I think it's like a lot of people mention their favorite planeswalkers. He might be mine. And I actually even like his story. I like what he can do. I like that he's flawed.
I would be just as mad if a Johnny became a dog person, even though I like dogs more than cats. He's a fucking lion.
It would be very weird, right? Like if you
Yeah.
just took a Johnny, or what if they just turned him into like a Black Panther instead of a white lion? It's like,
oh yeah, Michael, that's exactly it. It's the classic circle jerk where we just keep selling it back and forth, and eBay gets 13% every time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good
I agree. I agree with Coach, but I disagree
1,000
that
IQ.
you use it for home or schooling. Actually, Roth, once you finally get to it, and I mean, this gets into what's called RMDs eventually. Roths are immune to RMDs. And I think that my order of precedence for investing, and you should max them out, is number one, 401k to company match. Then your HSA, max that joker out. That is the best tax vehicle you can have. Third would be, honestly, I go for maxing out my 401k, and then I max out Roth. And so I actually have all of those maxed out. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm in the point where, all right, now I need to look for other investments that diversify my exposure to things. And actually, I've been drifting more towards precious metals. I got into crypto a little bit, and as soon as I bought in, it went. And I'm like, all right, well,
He bought in at the worst time. So did I.
I did, and it was like, all right, this sucks.
But
and
yeah,
it still sucks to this day.
It's rebounding a little bit, but
and to answer Benson's question, it's because she was way hotter as a black chick.
I don't know who Mina Harker is.
I have no idea who Mina Harker is.
It's one of the main characters in Dracula lore.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
But
I personally don't care what color skin a character is. I have no attachment to the color of their skin as long as they're still badass.
I don't like them changing the IP of something that's beloved.
Yeah.
I would be just pissed off.
Why can't you love Aragon as a black
mouse
What's wrong with it?
to a white mouse, right?
What's wrong with it?
Like if Mickey Mouse is so established, so iconic, and you're going to change him to look like Pinky in the fucking Brain? No.
I get what I kind of agree with Bob. Like, okay, if Lorcana comes out and it's a goofy card, but it's a goddamn Dalmatian instead.
But no, it's not. It's not that drastic. It's just the color of a skin. That's what I'm trying to say.
Bro, that's what I'm saying about a Dalmatian.
No, you're saying it's not that drastic. Hold on. You're saying it's not that drastic to you.
What I'm saying is it's not that drastic.
Drastic is a subjective term.
Well, no, what I'm saying is you're going to drastic stuff like turning a mouse into an alligator. Like, that's so different. It's not even close. But I'm talking about it's just turning Mickey Mouse from black to white. Or whatever. But Mickey Mouse is black and white, so gold and purple.
Switch them,
yeah. So say he's now gold and purple instead of black and white. Like that's the
I'd be
difference.
pissed. I'd be like, why? Why the fuck do you have to do this?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I
even look at like those. What do they call that? Safety yellow. Is that what that greenish bullshit color? Almost like what's behind your head there, Pat. When I see a Camaro driving down the street with that color on it, I'm like,
they have to call highlighter colors. Highlighter
terrible.
Green. Yeah,
terrible.
I love that shit.
Terrible.
Bob. I saw one the other day, and like
Camaro
me and my buddy, we like both followed it, and he's like, "You can tell that one had a V8." Damn. And I was like, yeah, I like that, but that's not the same to me as like turning Goofy into a fucking Dalmatian or making Aragorn a black dude. Like,
I agree.
As you can tell by having been married to a Vietnamese woman, I'm wicked cool with this whole like cross culture kind of thing. What I'm not cool with is fucking with like classic literature. It's a story. It is basis already for the product that they're making, and then they changed it. Like, it's one thing.
Bob was pissed when they turned Pepsi clear.
Well, I don't really even know that
Okay,
exists.
honestly,
Who the fuck
I was
drinks
pissed
that?
when they turned
There's
Pepsi
Pepsi
Blue.
Clear.
I
There
got
is Pepsi
so
Clear.
Pepsi Blue, headache central. Yeah.
But who
Fucking
the
A.
fuck drinks Pepsi Clear? Nobody. Everybody drinks the regular
I don't
Pepsi.
get
What?
why there's color in Pepsi. Why is there color in any of the drinks? Just make it clear and stop putting artificial flavoring or artificial colors in the thing. Like, it's in a can that you can't even see.
It makes
most of
it
the
sell
time.
better. It
I hate
definitely
it. I
sells
hate the
better if you
colors
have like
of, like,
neon
drinks and
colored
stuff.
Mountain Dew. I
Look,
think
yeah,
that's
brown
why, like,
no
taste,
reason.
brown Pepsi tastes better.
I don't actually know that it tastes any different. I don't
I don't
know
know.
that I've ever had. I can't
And
remember. if
you're
I've had
completely
Pepsi or
missing the
not.
point. When you have a well-established, loved IP, there's going to be something in your life that comes along, and you'd be like, "Why? Why did they have to mess with it? It's beloved. Why would they change it?"
understand your viewpoint. I'm just saying that I don't feel like it does more harm than
Okay.
good.
Well, then go out and do a lot of research on YouTube, because I did, and there are hundreds of videos, if not thousands, complaining
Well,
about
but
that to the point where they're boycotting it. You know what?
They're just riding.
At
the
least I
hype.
didn't
They're riding
boycott
the
it.
They're riding the shit on Watsy
No.
train.
Okay,
What?
what about the female Ghostbusters movie? Was that a travesty? I think it personally
there-
was. Like, I hated that shit.
I never
And,
even knew it existed.
Was there
That's
one? I
hilarious.
didn't even know
That
that was.
sounds
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Oh no,
You
it
know,
was.
I'll watch it the next
garbage
time I go
fire.
to the. I'll watch it next time I go to a WNBA game.
Why can't Ghostbusters be women?
I don't.
I know that they've
care.
always been men, but has Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters
it
like
can only
a
be.
club that you have to be in? You can only be a man?
No, Ghostbusters was the name of the company that the four guys started, and they actually had a woman that worked for him as their secretary that was like an integral part of their operation.
Yeah.
So
So
to
why
say
can't they
that it
have
was
chicks
like-
as well?
Oh no, that wasn't the issue. The issue was that it was just made to have them like be women, not for them to be really
Did they have
good
the same names as the
actresses.
men?
No,
That would
no,
be
it was
hilarious.
like
That would be pretty good.
yeah, like
I-
as time
honestly,
went
I
on,
have-
no, it just
I
sucked.
have-
That was
but
the
see,
issue.
It wasn't a remake, right? So I have no issue with that. They introduced new characters, and it
Yeah,
sucked,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it bombed, and it flopped, and
Exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, if you're
If
going
they
to do
had the
that,
same name as the
if you
men,
wanted
then
to
I
have
get it.
Lord of the Rings with a side quest story and not the main line, changing main characters,
Fucking truth.
and introduce an entire black race of people that are the superheroes of the Lord of the Rings and Magic the Gathering, but it's not the canon. Race swapping was
Wahoo.
worse.
What is
I
Chief
mean,
Wahoo?
I'll be honest with you.
What does this mean?
Chief Wahoo is the
Just because
it
I
used to
don't-
be the-
I
the
don't care
logo
for Chief Wahoo
people.
going away or the Indians. I would rather have it
Oh.
with Chief Wahoo and what's familiar.
Yeah.
But if it's offensive to an entire race of people, and they've stated it, here's the problem: is it's not Indian people that are complaining about it. It's white woke people that are complaining about it.
Yeah,
It's the same white woke people that put black people in Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings. It's not black
Goddamn.
people. It wasn't this complaint from
Well,
the black community.
it's part of an overall movement that's going on.
It's an
is that
agenda, and that's what I was saying. It has no place in this. It's
It
a
has a place in
social
everything.
agenda, not
That's
even
the
a game
problem.
agenda.
I think
So
that's
on that
overcorrecting
note, though,
the
I gotta
problem.
say that everything with Lorcana's got me worried in that sense. Though it's gonna be the wokest fucking game in the world.
Maybe. Let's hope not. I haven't seen anything super woke in there yet. But yeah, I mean, it looks, Disney's definitely going that way.
Yeah, I mean they are the line people try to toe. They bow
And-
to
and-
all
and
the
Benson,
audiences.
I get it. I get that, people take offense when and where they want to. I'm not of Indian descent, so I don't really have a pony in that race. It was my team. But if my team has an offensive name, and we could come up with many things out there that, call it the Chicago Nazis, I could see where people would say, yeah, that's not an appropriate name for a baseball
Yeah.
team, just because it was the Nazis with a swastika as their symbol, that I'm being parabolic, but yeah, there are some, we have to adjust to social sensitivities to some degree. People can't be excluded, and I'm not about excluding people. And I don't think that changing the identity of beloved IPs includes anybody. As a matter of fact, I think it's more offensive. Like, why don't you give us our own heroes? Why don't you give us new identities like Teferi? Why don't you make a great story that has a black hero or heroine or an Asian or a black Asian heroine or whatever, and make them, transvestite, who cares? Make them the superhero of a story, but make it their own. Don't steal it from something else.
Coach, I gotta say, it's an interesting comment because it made me think of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Young black kid, looks just like my nephew, honestly, real thin cheekbone structure and everything. And I was thinking, wow, Peter Parker's always been a honky, just a regular old white dude, right? And then they changed it up and they got a very relatable character. And I was enthused about it. And when I saw the trailer for Little Mermaid with a gorgeous young black gal in it, I was like, huh, I just hate that they made a live action version. That was the Travis to me. Like that was the issue. Same thing they did with Aladdin.
You should have the same if you have a problem with Lord of the Rings making Aragorn black, you should have the same problem with making Little Mermaid black.
I mean, I don't want to get into that because this is going to make me sound like a racist. I'm not a racist, but yes, I do. Peter Pan as well. They changed Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. Again, make new, unique, good stories with black people, people of color to include them, people who feel excluded, Indians. I don't care. But make it new. Don't rob the IPs that exist because you're erasing, you're canceling culture instead of embracing it and bringing new people into the fold. Give black people somebody they can identify with that is a fucking hero. You know, like for example, how about who doesn't love Samuel L. Jackson in his role in the Avengers? Like he's at the trailer of every.
Great.
Okay, right. Now imagine if they just stuck in Henry Cavill instead of Samuel L. Jackson. People would be like, what happened? Why? They'd be upset, as I would. Like, you have established characters. They're new. Why can't you create good characters like that people do love? Like, do that. Take that direction if you want to be inclusive. By changing around identities and sexual orientations of established IPs, you are excluding audiences. Now you've included one audience, so you can exclude another. Most reasonable people will not be upset at a new Nick Fury. Loved, what's his name in The Walking Dead? T-Dog, was that what they called him?
Well, hold on.
I don't know. I hated that show.
Benson's saying that Nick Fury was white for a long time and they made him black, but you're okay with this?
I didn't know it in the comics, so I would understand though if he was white most of the time in the comics and then they race swapped him. But I know him as.
Man. I love how fucking Google came back with this answer. I typed in, was Nick Fury white? Of course, Nick Fury was a white man in Marvel Comics. Fucking
okay,
Google.
Yeah, I am not a comic book guy, but I would totally understand why comic people would be like, what the fuck?
Okay, so
that was a bad example because I didn't know. There's ignorance on my part, but as far as like the movies go, it's always been Samuel L. Jackson. If they suddenly switched him up to be a white dude, that would upset me.
In case people didn't know, there was like a 1980s thing where there was pink kryptonite and it made Superman gay.
I remember this. Yeah. In the comics.
So enjoy that little nugget.
That one was fun.
I mean, it is what it is. I was just highlighting the fact that they're doing it for a social agenda, and as far as like bringing people into the fold based on an IP, I think it failed.
But but the overall, like, okay, so the purpose of the agenda is not a bad one. Like I get like the overall, like, bettering and equalizing the disparity between races is a good thing.
I agree.
Like stopping.
And you know who I love? Do you know who my favorite? First off, if you know me well, you're going to know that one of my favorite pastimes is cosmology, right? I love it. I've been
doing hair and nails.
You know, that was one of the things I put on my dating profile like years ago. And if a girl didn't know the difference between cosmetology and cosmology, I was like, you're out. We're not going to have a conversation. But, you know, like Sherry Vegas, we love stargazing. It's kind of a, you know, that's like the theme park version of cosmology, but I actually dig, like, you know, watching all these physicists that are smart people. And do you know who my favorite one is out there? And I love him. Just what an amazing human being. Neil deGrasse Tyson is my favorite. Yes, absolutely. And you know, he hates talking about being black because he doesn't want that to be the focus of what he is. He wants to be the focus on him of being a great astrophysicist, of being a public ambassador, of being an intelligent person. And
Yeah, well,
I
so
hate the
there's the
fact that
great,
I have to point out that my favorite astrophysicist is actually black.
yeah,
You know, and
there's a
I love
great
Michio
back and forth
Kaku, who is
about
Asian.
Morgan Freeman, whether or not he wanted Black History Month to be a thing. And he asked the interviewer, he says, as a Jewish man, do you want Jewish History Month? He says, no, of course not. And he says, why not? And it got quiet, and he's like, that's the reason I don't want Black History Month. It's like, yeah, the more you make it a special thing, the more you keep talking about it,
The more you highlight the fact that they're different and you can't focus on them as a person. You look at their skin color, and that's what's happening. You're not, in my opinion, you're not integrating them. You are calling special attention to them for whatever them it is, whether they're black or whatever non-white male group it is. You're calling attention to it rather than just being people. Right? That's exactly my point. I don't think about it when I'm listening to him. I don't.
Was that what? I don't know if that's a joke or if he doesn't actually know. Maybe
No.
there's another Neil deGrasse.
No, that's definitely a joke. Yeah,
It's definitely a joke, but and that's the point. Like, you listen to what he's saying, you're paying attention to him.
Yeah, I've watched a
not
lot of his
his
stuff.
skin color, and that's where we need to get to in society. That's where we need to get to with people, and stop calling special consideration and special. Let's change this IP and special rules and special words that we have to say or not say, and we're censoring each other. But we need to integrate with people, women, men, blacks, gays, trans, light posts. I don't care. You know, the more we call special attention to people, and it's not equality, it's special attention. And that's what we need to do, is make it more equal, make it integrate in a natural way. And we're not.
Yeah. I think they're going to make Doctor Who like a real exemplar of that.
And what really bothers me most is that in order to integrate, what I've noticed, the decided trend everywhere is that every evil person is a white dude. In every movie, every commercial, every book, everything that I'm seeing and reading, it's like, that's not fair either. Are you both evil people?
Yeah,
I'm not.
Like,
it's like, okay, in order to make black people look great in a hero, we have to make the white guy the villain. And it's like,
special recognized special baby.
I don't know. Black Adam was an evil dude. He was an evil villain for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he started off as a bad dude, but
I know that's new.
I know point. Yeah, classically, it's well. Also, white people were the heroes for the longest time, so of course their foil.
Right, that's what they're doing. They're like flip flopping back. Oh, they were the heroes. Now they're the villains. And it's like, how do you integrate? You're swapping one exclusion. Like, there's an Asian dude out there that's on YouTube. If you watch the video, he's like, you're not allowed to say any jokes about any other race, but you're allowed to bash on white dudes all day long. It's totally socially acceptable and encouraged. Like, go watch him. He's like, it's a popular video, and he's correct. And you can't exclude white people in order to make other people feel integrated.
As far as like an avid comedy fan, like I listen to like local stand-ups and shit. Nah, man, you can definitely dish on any race. It just has to be a good joke. Like that.
You know what's funny is we're actually under review for getting getting partnered on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a great time to have this conversation.
Thank everybody for the support. You've made this
possible. I said at the beginning, uninvite me from the trio, but I'm going to open my mouth in the way that I feel fit. And
fuck that noise, Bob. I think this has been one of our best streams, and we've had great viewership the entire time. Not just has it been lively for us, but the comment section seems to be really into it, and they can tell how passionate we are about the discussion.
And I don't think either one of you are a bad person for believing that they've ruined your IP. I'm just trying to also give the other.
I didn't say ruined. I said it was a bad choice. I think that they failed on something.
I'm not actually a fan of Lord of the Rings, so I don't give a shit. Yeah,
maybe that's the case. Maybe I'm not tied. I don't know. Okay, so like I guess the very first thing that comes to my head is Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin, when I grew up, was like something like a character that I found badass, and I'm like, this guy's sick. And like if they came with a black Rurouni Kenshin, would I care? I don't know. Probably not. I'd be like, wow, that's weird. But then I'd watch it and I'm like, okay. I can tell you I don't like Samurai Champloo, and then
you prick! I was just gonna say Samurai Champloo is like one of my favorite anime.
I hate it.
I mean, they have the RZA doing the audio production for it. That's goddamn unbelievable. Yeah, Bones, great animation studio.
Look, so most people,
Yeah, Afro Samurai.
even
Shit
in
was
the
tops.
70s and 80s, when and I'll point back, and you guys are probably way too young to remember this. Soap operas were a big, huge part of Americana, and I don't believe they really are anymore. But when they would swap out because characters like leave the show, and suddenly it's a new white dude, and people were still like, "What? This is terrible." So that's what I mean. It's not even just so much that it's black that like really highlights the attention to it. But when you go changing the characters that people love, that's a very sensitive thing for most people. And now you're doing it for social agenda, which even that's what pisses me off the most. It has nothing really to do with black people at all. I have black friends, I have gay friends. And they're, it's not something that I would, people very, very close to me are likely gay in my family that I love dearly. And that's,
talking about you, Kevin.
It's okay. And I'm okay with that. Right. Like I have no problem whatsoever. But I have a problem with like what they're doing with this. And I hate having things shoved down my throat. I am a staunch, libertarian. And I believe that people should have the right to choose. I don't believe in censorship, even if it's something that's offensive to me. And I think that they have the right, but I also have the right to like point out like why I don't like something. I have a right to have a voice in it. I hate being silenced just because look, if I'm not with them, I must be racist. Like whatever you say, if you're not with them, then you're a transphobe, gay phobe, people phobe, I don't know, phobe, or you hate black people because you didn't like that they made Aragorn black. Like, that's an illogical conclusion. I hate the reasoning behind it, and I hate what they've done to an IP that I love. I hate the fact that I was super hyped about buying it, and then I looked at it, it's not what I recognize as my IP.
I mean, I guess we'd have to get a black person on here that has. I guess one person wouldn't speak for all of them, but
I'm not speaking for all white dudes either.
Sure, yeah. I am just curious to like how
clearly I'm not speaking for the two of you.
I was like, okay, so here's the thing. I remember talking to the dude. This is the only example I have. When we were at the Magic 30 in Vegas, we were sitting at a table. There was a black guy there. We played Commander with him, and his deck. He specifically made his deck of all black people. Like every single card in his deck was a black person or black related, I believe, or black centric.
Sure.
And I remember for this guy, I bet you this set's a fucking slam home run. So that's at least one person that I know that loves it, and it will speak to him. Now, why is that? We have however many sets this year that are made.
Okay, let me ask you this. Hold on. Perfect example.
Is it not okay that this is for them?
Hold on. Perfect example. You said one person in a room of how many people?
I mean, we only spoke to that one guy.
Okay, but how many people? And you're basing. First off, you couldn't have asked him because it wasn't out yet. So you're making an assumption that he might be just as upset by it.
Well, that's fine. No. That's not what I didn't say. That he probably. I'm saying that I'd like to ask him to see if he would.
Okay,
because it seems like he would.
Hold on. Oh, by that same example, you just isolated the other 49 people in the room. You don't care what their take on it is. And if he is enthused and
the only one I know that enjoyed it.
Hold on, let me finish this. Let me finish the thought. So you're talking about, and let's bring it up. How many other black people were in the room that you even noticed?
3, if I remember correctly.
Out of probably 200 people that we saw?
Yeah.
And if all 3 of them absolutely love it, adore it, and they did that, how many people do you think would be offended by it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know.
Out of 200 that are not black. Exactly. Nor do you care. And that's the bigger problem.
I'm the one that don't care. I think it's whatever.
Okay. And that's fine that you don't care. But not caring that you've offended and the major part of your buying audience, by the way, you're not even paying attention and don't care at a minimum. Don't care what they think.
It's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't care what you think. I'm more of don't understand.
No, I'm saying Watsy doesn't care. They don't care. They'll pander to the extreme minority to look socially woke in this environment and basically not care at all about the rest of the audience there. And that's the wrong approach. That's not inclusionism. I do
agree with what you're saying about making the already black heroes in the lore more heroic. That makes more sense to me than
There are none, by the
changing
way.
the race. Huh?
There are none, by the way.
Yeah,
In
no,
Lord
it's
of the Rings?
Tolkien. He's an old dude that wrote the book, so the only dark people are the bad guys.
The
Well,
orcs.
that's
Like,
I think that's the problem. That I guess that. Well, what I was saying is,
how is that
I
a
guess-
problem that people love the IP and they decided to use it? Now you want
the
to change it to suit your own needs? No.
well, the problem is that Tolkien is a racist. It seems like. I
Okay,
guess.
and it's a massively globally, and I don't know that it's necessarily racist. It's a bit because he did paint the simple evil orcs. Like if you just really dig into it, yes. If you want to get into like a college discussion of it, yes. The orcs are considered to be like the African descent, and there were others that he painted from like the Middle Eastern, but all the like most powerful people are the white dudes.
Yeah. It's like if you don't look like a guy from Scotland, you're one of the bad guys.
Sure.
So Hitler.
Yeah.
And that's-
I mean,
Look, well, it's
You
not
must
quite
have
Hitler,
a small mustache. No.
but
blonde hair,
it-
blue eyes. I don't know. So I guess that's the okay. So here's the thing. So if they didn't pander with the race change to support black folks, then they're supporting racism because the IP is just all white people.
I don't
So
know.
it's
not
kind of
though.
bad
I don't
on both
agree with that
sides.
take.
Well, like
Is it
Lord
not?
of the Rings is like pretty much all white dudes.
Hold on.
But that
Stop.
doesn't
Stop.
mean magic
Stop.
has to
Stop
be.
right there, because you're saying then that all the Wakanda Forever and Black Panther are totally racist.
It depends on if they've always been black or not. I don't know enough about the lore to know if like
You're saying
Black
because of the way
Panther-
they designed the story that it's inherently racist.
the writer of the material, the way he wrote it, yes. Because this is old, right? This is like the Lord of the Rings is like super old, right? Like 30, 40 years, 30 years.
Oh, way older
what-
than
what?
that. It's
What,
like
like
80
100
years
years?
old. Yeah.
Really? Is that old? Okay, either
Yeah,
way.
it's
Yeah,
old
I
as
thought it
shit.
was. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so 100 years old. I mean, yeah, we're talking well before any wokeness happened, well before any, you know,
54.
I definitely agree
They're not
that if-
calling attention to the races.
they're not calling attention to it, but if they ignore the fact that this was written over 100 years ago and has no colorful flavor in it,
Burn. Yeah.
you know, it's.
Should have
I'm
been
not.
canceled.
I agree with that time
shit.
capsule. Then shame on Watsy for picking a racist story to showcase.
You bigots. Yeah. Well, one of the things that
And we also have to call
I
Star
do
Wars
like
totally racist.
is that Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast is making some very great black characters as commander cards.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I am totally for that. And I think that's what a lot of the comment section, and thank you for it, is saying, is to not change some of the characteristics of something, but to create something else that fits that need. Magic the Gathering is always creating new characters, lots of new cards and mechanics. So it'd be wonderful to have something like that. Like with Commander Masters, the commander deck of the enchantments. It's a beautiful black gal, looks wonderful in her armor, strong and heroic. Now, something like that, you create a new character. You have that as the main piece. You don't need to change lore that's already been well established. And
I have
Lord
no
of the
problem with
Rings has been
Sephiroth. I
around
think
for
she's an
80
amazing
years.
card. I think Sephiroth is a great card. I love what's her name? The creepy little girl, Planeswalker.
Afernatu or
Amanatu.
Amanatu, yeah.
Okay. Like I would be upset if they changed it. I'm just saying that, go with that and embrace that. Make them great. I think they did a great job with Teferi. He's
But
got a
that-
rich
but that's-
story. He's
it's-
powerful as hell. Probably one of the most powerful people next
It's
to
different
fucking
though.
Urza. What?
Because it's different though, because if you rewind 100 years, there would be no black people in Magic story, most likely. Most likely it would be all white people, just like in Lord of the Rings. 100
I'm
years
really
ago is a long
stretching
time
to
for
understand
evolution.
your logic.
What I'm saying is that bringing people of color to mainstream media and mainstream card games and the like is not as common as it was 100 years ago. So what I'm saying is that twisting, when you're taking material that was written over 100 years ago, it makes sense that if you're importing into your IP, you have to remember that this is their version of a Lord of the Rings. This isn't Lord of the Rings. This is their version of Lord of the Rings. So they can technically do whatever they want. And say they were to sure, and say they were to if they were to write Lord of the Rings, the lore or whatever 100 years ago, they may follow the same genre, the same all white people is great and all black people are bad in their book or whatever. I'm generalizing a little bit, but so what I'm saying is that if they were to rewrite Lord of the Rings now, do you think that there would be many different races of power in Lord of the Rings? Probably.
But
so they're just rewriting it in their image.
First of all, they're hijacking. First off, right. So now I'm going to stop you there because Lord of the Rings, on its own merit, became one of the best-selling books of all time. Period. Top 3. Okay, and they're hijacking it to change it in a shameless marketing plug to push a product to have social agendas on it, and that is
I don't disagree with that. But I don't think it's doing
fine. You know what? I agree with you. Bring more black people in, but do it with a new story.
And I don't disagree with that either. I think they should do that as well. I'm just saying it should be. You don't have to like it.
I really don't want to harp on this as a race thing. I was just saying, in my opinion, if they were going after the Lord of the Ring audience that has a well-established IP, and this is the first real major departure from it, and you're trying to entice them into the Magic the Gathering, I guarantee you there are going to be a large number of those people that look at them and went, what the fuck? And said, put it back.
Is Teferi an Indian? That'd be kind of funny if he wasn't.
No, he's black.
No, he's definitely black. I don't think he's an Indian
at all. He's from whatever that world is, from Mirage. Anyways, there's a whole story, and I thought it was a good story. I was involved in it. I enjoyed it, and
Teferi's a badass. He does all kinds of
fucking badass.
He controls time,
and that's what you need to do. That's
he's the master of time. I mean, he's pretty good.
It's better than the cat dude. I mean, seriously, what's fucking Johnny do?
Basalt?
Sorry.
Or is it Basani or Basalt or something like that?
A Johnny.
No. There's another black planeswalker that's nowhere near as good.
I was just okay. Yeah.
Sure. Aminachi's nowhere near as good.
She's decent, but not as good as Teferi.
No, Teferi's a bad and that's wonderful. And I support bringing more of them in.
I'm not calling you a racist by disliking the set. I'm just saying that
it's not that I even dislike the set. I dislike their social agenda that they stapled onto the set shamelessly.
Right. But I mean,
I don't believe that that's lore. I'm not following that, Benson. I gotta know.
Johnny knocked up Nick Erie.
And I think it's great that we were able to have a long form and nuanced discussion about this topic. That it wasn't a short, contrite thing, that we were able to really air out and have some solid opinions. So thank you guys both for that tonight. And thank you everybody in the comment section for being so decent as well.
I was just giving it my personal analysis and my personal opinion about where they went wrong with Lord of the Rings and why I don't think it's the greatest success ever. And I think that people bought into the hype simply because let's erase the one of one ring out of this, and we'll even go so far as to erase the serialized soul rings. If you remove those two elements of this, which are just shameless chasing after money, period, the set is certainly not a home run by any stretch.
If you were to do the same thing for Brothers War, if you were to take out the serialized artifacts in that set as well, it definitely wouldn't have gotten the traction it did. So I think that we would be doing a disservice to the product line if we got rid of those. But
if it wasn't for those, the set would be trash.
If it was just for the thematic thing, I think it would be a lot like fucking AFR Baldur's Gate, except they did put decent cards in this set. There's some good power in here outside
I don't think it would be trash. I think it would be less successful, and it wouldn't have on news, and it wouldn't have been like crazy blown up. It would have been just an okay set. Because there are a solid number of good cards. The Surge foils are doing really, really well, so it would have made collector boxes hold a decent price. I don't think they would have plummeted.
Let's see how long the Surge foils hold out, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. They're doing.
They're already starting to fall pretty decent.
I mean,
I put the Surge foils exactly in the same category as the textured foils.
That was my thought pattern as well, right there on that. I think a lot of the hype is already burning off, and as we're seeing the switch with content creators, the discussion is definitely going over to Commander
It's not
Masters.
one artist depiction. You've changed the race of many of the major characters. Theoden, Galadriel. What's even more bizarre is Eowyn, who's black, and her brother in canon and is in the set is a white dude. Like, what? They had the same parents. Explain that one. You changed the major character, Aragorn, the king of the whole series. So you didn't just pick some sub characters, and you didn't just pick one depiction. You made many changes in depictions.
Can you imagine if Gandalf the White was black? That would have been
honestly, what it looks like they did to Gandalf, and people aren't really mentioning it. He has in my opinion, a very decided
Bold
Asian flavor.
Oh, whatever.
Again,
right.
I'm not gonna go there.
Wow, that's weird.
But it is what it is, and I don't
think it was done in good
it.
taste, and that it definitely was just to be appeasing certain markets that honestly I don't think needed to be appeased. They probably could have just done straight up Lord of the Rings as we saw them in the classic movies, done Peter Jackson style. They could have just done the characters that we all fell in love with, just left it at that, been totally fine. If anything, I think there's probably
many characters that have never been depicted, right? Grab them from the lore, make them badass in this somehow,
right?
Make them black, people that have not been
all
described.
In all, I think this set was a huge hit.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious how it does over time.
I mean, we are in the throes still of the hype. It's been released 1 month ago, so we'll see if this honeymoon phase wears off. I think it will.
After a month.
What's that?
Yeah. It's doing better than most sets after a month. But
okay.
Again, that's a lot. It's got a lot of hype backing it up, so we'll see.
Well, speaking of hype backing it up, I'm definitely looking forward to Flesh and Blood's 10th set coming out next week. I think Dusk Till Dawn's going to be a really interesting experience. The first serialized cards in their boxes, and since they do just the one product line of just the one booster box that you can buy, I think it'll be an interesting chase for a lot of people. So looking forward to that set. It's a supplemental set, so it's not going to be huge, changes to the format, just a lot of support.
The next collectible I'm looking forward to is Lorcana, which is a month away for us. Our first hands, get our first hand, not even a month. Get our hands on it for the first time, and I'm hoping it's more than just a fucking starter decks. That's going to be so disappointing if it's not. I want to at least crack some kind of, booster packs.
Well, the starter decks do come with a single booster pack in them, so
I'm not buying 36 starter decks. Don't open 36 fucking booster packs, or even 24.
I don't know, man.
I'll buy one unless there's like some kind of like exclusive to Gen Con. Then I'll buy a couple for just hype potential reasons.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of real hype around it, and it's amazing how quiet things went after that lawsuit was filed.
The Ravensburger lawsuit, yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It did its job. It's already hurt the product. Period.
Yeah.
Was there a resolution, or is it actually in?
No, and it probably won't, and so it doesn't matter. Basically, it feels like a petty, vengeant move from Upper Deck, and this is something that they've known about for a very long time, and it was just a very spiteful, petty move, just to try to grab money, I would guess. Either way, I thought it was a shame.
What money do they get? They don't get. I mean, they can try to get money from Ravensburger.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
trying to get paid out of court.
Well, no, even in court, like one of the things that they're going to use as kind of a guideline is that if they can be made whole by money, right? If the offense can be paid for, then it's they're not going to make them stop printing it and that kind of stuff. And that's basically that's the most that they could possibly hope for, and I don't even think they're going to get that. I think any lawyers that's worth a salt will get this one tossed out. I would bet they're going to try not to go to court, so it's really going to be surprising even if it does go to court. And if it does go to court, I'll be super surprised if the result is what Upper Deck hopes. And even if it is, okay, cool. You now sullied your Upper Deck name for me, and I buy Upper Deck products. I love the Legendary line. I have several of them. I won't be supporting them anymore if they're douchebags. Like, who's heard of what? I don't even remember the name of the fucking set they were going to release, but never did. Like the game, the Rush of Icor or something like that, I think is what it's called. That's what they're claiming, that Lorcan is a ripoff of Rush of Icor. Who the fuck has heard of Rush of Icor? Nobody.
Well, nobody, because it was in
one of the things that they claim in their statement is that they're an established name in the TCG world. Upper Deck. Name a TCG from Upper Deck. Go.
I only know the sports card.
Rush of Icor.
That's not even released, but you understand what I'm saying? It's like, no, they're not. So there's some sour grapes there somewhere. And I just think it's a shame. What's that?
So Wyvern is just
old ass one.
Wyvern's an old card game that I've been just slowly collecting. I'm missing 56 cards, I think, or 52 cards from the set. I'm just kind of casually collecting a set of it for whatever reason. But I opened up a box of it that's coming to the channel soon, just a limited edition box specifically. But I found something out. It's Magic related, which is why I'm bringing it up. I found something out pretty cool about the Wyvern Premier limited edition starter decks. That's what this is. I ordered 4 of them. Back in 1995, when they were printing the Premier limited edition sets, they used the same printer as Magic the Gathering's Fallen Empires. And from what I understand is that there are people have found Magic the Gathering cards inside the Premier starter decks of Wyvern, but it has the Wyvern back. So it has the Magic the Gathering front and the Wyvern back. So I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to buy a cool. I mean, I don't know how common it was, but people have said that the most common that they found it has been in the Wyvern decks, where you'll actually you'll just be scrolling through the starter deck and it's just a Magic the Gathering card with the Wyvern back. And I'm like, I want that. That sounds cool. So I bought 4 of these. They're only $20. Like, it's not like a huge investment. Like, the dude had it listed for, I think it was like $30 and some change, but he had like more than 10. So I'm like, I clicked 4 and I'm like, offer $20 a piece, and he accepted it and it's shipped. So I thought it was pretty cool that Magic's set was also printed on Wyvern, because they were around the same era, but for some reason Magic took off, Wyvern didn't. I think Magic's a more in-depth game. Wyvern is it's cool, but it's definitely printed like a caveman worded the cards. It's very strange. But I think it's really
you
cool.
had the same thing. Like, I think, I don't remember who it was. What's his name? The open boosters guy. He was mentioning like the rarest pack in all of Magic that was like I want to say it was a 4th edition pack that actually has Netrunner cards inside of it instead of Magic cards.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that's freaking funny.
I think that's cool. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's got a video about it. You can check it out. But it's like, oh wow, that was interesting.
Yeah,
at any rate, I think that's about going to do it for me, folks. I need to.
It's been a nice long one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
I pissed off a number of people in the audience, and I hope you understand the intent of what I'm saying. I don't intend to offend anybody, so take it as you.
He does it purely accidentally, folks.
Yeah, so he doesn't mean to intentionally piss you off, but he's gonna do it.
Except for Prime, that guy sucks.
Fuck, shit ass. Welcome.
Yeah, right.
Something about swearing at
everybody that hung with us for this long stream. I know it's been a long one, kind of controversial. And I really want to get back to now. See, you didn't take offense at it, Richie does, but I guarantee I offended somebody. Somewhere somebody got insulted by what I said.
Yeah, well,
that wasn't my intent at any point. I don't want to insult people that don't deserve to be insulted.
Prime deserves a raise.
You should say some awesome things about Prime.
Prime really is awesome. I've said it many times.
No, Prime's great. I just pick on him because I know he takes it super well. It's just a fun back and forth.
We're glad to have him on our D&D group.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, Draconis is super fun. I do feel as though we made a mistake giving that armor to the cleric. Vanna, wonderful, but she's smart enough not to jump in every fucking time. Dude, Misty Step right into the middle of that room.
Jump into the room where nobody else is at.
I was like, I'm not even going to debate it. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm just, yeah, sure. That sounds like a great idea. You Fucking noob.
It's funny because as the dungeon master, I have view of like all the monsters are already on the map. I don't move them around unless they're able to be moved. Like the spiders were always in those 4 squares; they never moved.
Oh yeah,
And it was
yeah.
funny, like when he teleported in, I'm like, he's just gonna get wrecked by these spiders.
It's just,
But he did
I mean,
okay. I mean, he got wrecked a little bit, but then
I was
you know.
rewatching some of it earlier, and I did that like hero jump up the stairs, sword out, and the room was just filled with ghouls. Yeah, no, I was expecting that. Prime, I don't know if he thinks about it before he like, well, let me run up here too. It's like, no, it's but
realistically, she should be frontline with you with her AC being as high as it is, and she has a decent amount of HP
19,
because she
yeah.
can divide the damage between the two of you.
Yeah.
And not only that,
So you guys
her
can
healing
fight like
is
back to back.
Her best healing is a touch heal. And
Yeah,
you
exactly. Her
tend
best
to
healing's
take the
touch.
most
You can
damage.
heal as well with your lay on hands. So you guys could easily back each other up a bit.
Right.
Most of her spells don't require attacks; they're all just savings. So like, I don't know. With the new armor, I actually think she's best in melee with you. Pull a little bit of
We
heat
do
off
have
you.
to figure out what we're doing as far as a play group come Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll
It's
figure that
pretty
out
much gonna be
Wednesday.
the end of it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna finish we'll finish the with the last session on Wednesday. For those of you that are watching the Lost Mine of Phandelver, that's gonna be the last session, almost certainly next session as far as the Lost Mine of Phandelver is concerned. But then the party's gonna decide what happens next. Well, I know we're losing Vanna, but hopefully we can get somebody else. I don't know of
Well,
anybody.
I know at a minimum, spoiler alert. At a minimum, I want to take a break. Not that I want to stop altogether, but I want to stop at least till after Gen Con. And then
Yeah, that's fair.
my dad's funeral is a week after that, so I'll be gone for a bit. So probably like maybe after Labor Day or something.
That's
we look
fair.
at picking up again. Because we're only a couple of weeks away. We're gonna have this week, and then it would be 2 weeks until we go to Gen Con.
One of the reasons why I made 7 videos last night, so that we had a little bit of a buffer. I'll probably schedule those out for around Gen Con because of that.
I want us to hopefully get some content for Gen Con, because it seems a large part of the Magic audience doesn't really know about Gen Con, and it's a pretty big Magic event. Maybe not as large as like the Magic 30 event as far as pure Magic, but you're going to see it's a large chunk of Gen Con is Magic, and most people don't know it, but that's where Magic got its start, was at Gen Con. It's where it was released.
Interesting.
You keep trying to give advice when you shouldn't. Look, if you're enjoying it, then you should give advice. The sad part is the way that the video set up and how screen intensive it is for me, and I only have one monitor. I really have a hard time keeping track of the comments because I have a hard enough time just clicking on like character sheets because they're always popping up in front of my map, and I got 2 because of Mila, and it's like I can't see the chat, and then I can't see the map, and then I only have one monitor. So, and when I say I can't see the chat, I can't even see our chat, like the results from rolls and shit, and like I'm just always shuffling things around the whole time, and just I have
getting a second monitor.
I did, but I don't have a video card that supports it right now because the video card only has one of those like mini HDMI outputs. It has one regular size HDMI and one mini HDMI. And
you have to buy an adapter.
I fuck that. I think that I know, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, video cards are dropping like a rock right now. And there's a new NVIDIA card coming out this month that's supposed to come out
4060, I think, or 4050.
I think it might be the 4060, and I think it's supposed to be at a very reasonable price point, like $385 or something.
Yeah.
So, I might be looking to upgrade my rig that we're actually talking on right now to make it mo better. But then you guys have seen my desk, and in order to accommodate 2 monitors, I literally have the one monitor hidden behind the other. I'm going to have to do something. And then in order to shift this monitor over, I'd be blocking the camera. And it's just, I got to reorganize.
Yeah.
Gives Bob a fix.
Gives Bob's a fix. Bob says F that.
Yeah,
Superfast are you shortest out right now, or did you take a giant toke?
Gives Bob a fix. Bob says F that, not good enough.
He's going blind. He's just randomly smashing his fingers on the board.
He's saying that he's like, I've given you a fix, and you're like, nah, fuck that. I'll rather spend $385 on a new video card when you can spend $10 on an adapter.
Well, I want a new video card already. You know what I'm saying? So why buy the adapter?
What card's in there?
What
What card's in there right now?
Oh my god! Do you really want me to go get the stats for you?
No, what is it? Like an
It's
RTX?
like 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Where
Is
do
it like
you
an
look at
RTX?
it?
Is it an RTX card, like an Nvidia card?
No,
is it like a
it's
GTX
Nvidia.
1080? Is it like a
Hold on. No, it's like a FX something or other.
FX?
Hold on. How do you look that shit up? What's the command for like your system stats?
To look up a video card, you can do device manager.
Oh, there's something else though. Just like my computer will tell you.
System information.
You can
Yeah, I
type
think
in
that's it.
information. But does it tell you graphics card?
I think so.
I know it gives
Hardware
CPU.
resources.
I don't think it does graphics cards, unless it's maybe under components.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you your graphics card. It does tell you your processor, which is cool though.
Yeah, it tells you processor and RAM, but I don't. Yeah, it doesn't tell you graphics card. But either way, I mean, I just my streaming rig for upstairs. It has a.
Oh, it does. You
980
just have to
Ti in
go
it.
under components and then display. Whatever.
Okay, it's a GTX 1066 gigabytes.
GTX 1060.
Yes.
I mean, that's fine. Wait, hold on. GTX, not RTX.
Yes.
That's well, hold on, that's a 6 gigabyte card. Yeah, that's fine. That's selling for $170 on Amazon right now.
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah, like I said, realistically,
I only have one HDMI cord. I'm not going to buy an adapter for it. I'd rather get like when I cut videos on this, it just.
but that's
That's
CPU related.
CPU though. Yeah.
It's not GPU. They use the GPU for some
we could
encoding.
use
but
either
most
or
of it-
when you're using DaVinci.
when I'm in DaVinci, my CPU goes to 100% and fucking slams my PC, but it encodes the video quickly. I actually
You
have
can use
DaVinci
both.
up still right now.
Both matter.
Yeah, I'd have to check the settings because it doesn't use my video card for nothing.
No, you can set it for using video RAM, blah 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 blah. It's all in
Yeah.
there.
GPU boosted or whatever.
Do that because I have a
But,
20. Yeah, it doesn't even use decode options. Use GPU for Blackmagic Raw decode. That's all it has. I don't know. I'll Google it. I guess. It sounds great.
Anyway,
Either way, guys,
I
this
have
has been
reasonably
super
priced
fun.
video cards finally for the first time in years, and I just want to get one.
Yeah, I ordered
Why
a
not
48.
What's that?
RTX 48. RTX 4080 went on sale for $1,000, which is it's still a fuck ton of money, but it's a $200 cheaper than the lowest card possible. So for $200 off, I was like, fine, I'll order it. My 2080 Ti sells for $350 on eBay, so I'll sell my 2080 Ti for $350. So that means I'm upgrading for $650. It's a pretty good deal considering it's like 50 to 60% better performance than my 2080 Ti. So I figure, fuck it. It's a lot of money, but I was gonna wait until the RTX 5000 series, but that's not rated until or gonna release until 2025. So I was like, that's still quite a while away. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
I guess it's already out. It said June 29th it released. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, the 4050 is the one that it's going to be even cheaper. There's a 4050 coming out.
This is
probably the
46.
better one to get for that. Yeah, I know, but there's a 4050 coming out. It's even cheaper.
Well, this was $299.
Yeah. How about cheaper than $299?
Yeah, man, these prices were gross during the pandemic. There was a huge chip shortage, so a lot of stuff.
A lot of it, more of it had to do with the fucking crypto miners. And now the
Yeah.
crypto went, the crypto miners like, shit, I got stuck with all these cards.
Yeah.
So it's expected to wait. Oh, yeah, this one's releasing very soon.
It says June 2023. So
Should have
Last
already been released,
month.
but it isn't out yet. Amazon.
Okay. Says the MSRP is reportedly $199, while the 8 gig version could retail for $249. Ugh, I don't know if I like that.
Liquor Center is going to be your best bet. They're going to give you the best price.
What's
We
that?
don't need to crowdfund anything for Bob.
No, I don't need much. No.
He
Bob
makes
does
good enough
fine.
money. We're not some other YouTube channel that does that.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, we don't ask for anything, and we don't give away a lot either. I mean, that's just
I
not
just
our
ask
stance.
No, that's
for the
not
likes
true.
and
I asked for
subscribes.
1 like, 1 subscribe from each of you.
Mhm.
that
Okay,
watch.
I'm talking about like financial or sending cards.
Yeah.
I appreciate the thought, but it's far more that you spend your time here with me. Your time is precious to me,
Mhm.
all of you. That's the
If you
most
want to give me a
important
reach
thing you can give
around,
us.
you can share the video with a friend.
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
Come
That's
play
the good
Commander
stuff.
Raids. You know, just spend
Yeah.
time with us.
True.
We're probably the most approachable people on all of YouTube when it comes to actually reaching out and touching us. We go to public events. We,
Reach out and touch us.
you know what I mean? Like,
I know what
I
you're
would
saying.
love to play Commander Raids just one time with Jake and Joel. We know him. We talked to him, but for whatever reason, they haven't done it.
I've thought about approaching them, but I just
I
haven't.
did,
yet.
and they're basically
they're
like, "Yeah, it sounds great. We're gonna have to do that sometime." It's like, all right,
They're
cool.
very busy because they both have full-time jobs and then
Sure.
also run a full-time.
Because we don't have
YouTube
full-time
channel.
jobs, I
get it.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're more.
They're
I think
more
they spend
full-time
more-
job.
I think
Good.
they do way more videos than we do.
You have been a beast. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, but I'm just one guy. There's two of
Okay,
them.
yeah, whatever. I
We're
don't
all
make
gonna reach
excuses
out
for
to
that. It's cool. You know, I'm not going to bash them. What I'm saying is, it's tough.
Yeah.
With other content creators, and the bigger you get, the harder it is to get time for your viewing audience. So, you know, come
I
on
get
out and play with us. Giggity.
Oh, they also do the things when they edit their videos. They like zoom in and out. I bet you they spend hours editing that shit. I just can't be fucked. I don't know if it's great for the YouTube algorithm or whatever to like have the things constantly be moving around and zooming in on their nose and flipping upside down and zooming in from the left. And I'm like, I can't. I fuck that. No, fuck that. That is way too
It's
much
a
work.
lot of work.
I will never do that.
And that's why they're so successful.
Sure. Maybe that is.
Whatever they're doing it way more right than I am, because they were only at like 5,000 subs when I started watching them. Basically, when we started this channel, they're now what 65,000, 70,000. They're getting up towards like Joey Moss numbers already. But there are Magic conventions on the East Coast. I think there was one at just at Philly, right? PhillyCon.
Yeah.
As far as like Magic conventions here in the Cleveland area, not really. You have Gen Con, which is like the closest over in Indianapolis, which is about 4.5 hours away.
Time capsule, there's a difference between production value and useful production value. I don't think that adds anything to their videos by zooming in on their nose. That does nothing to me. Like if you watch their videos, I'm not trying to bash them at all. They're great guys. But when you watch their videos, I get personally annoyed to shit from their videos. When they zoom in on their nose and they flip it upside down, that's not production value. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't add anything to the production. That does nothing. There's no value there, in my opinion.
And I would disagree, like with what the experts say, that you need to constantly be shifting visual focus in order to keep people.
That's why I do like this kind of shit all the time. Like it definitely
makes people go,
that
oh,
adds value. That
like,
highlights the person that's talking. That's
it doesn't matter.
valuable.
Okay, to you, but read up on it if you want. I can get you the research that talks about why that's important. But yes, people lose interest fast. The average human being's attention span is like 15 seconds. Now, I'm clearly not the average person because I can focus on things for hours. My mom took me in when I was little, literally like 18, 19 months old, whatever it was, because I would play with, like the wooden blocks. Yeah, I know it's not really a big thing for your generation, but we used to get these like shaped wooden blocks that had bright primary colors on them. And I would sit, build things, playing with wooden blocks for like 4 hours. When most young toddlers, they play with something for like 2 minutes, move on to the next thing. 2 minutes, on to the next thing.
My wooden blocks was Legos.
She was, I had Legos too, but she was concerned that I was potentially mentally deficient and I would need, like when she took me in, she's like, I think there's something wrong with him. Like I might have a learning disability. And he said, no, it's actually very rare to have a child that has such a long attention span, but I've always been that way. Like in school, I pay attention.
Yeah, we've been talking for 3 hours now.
Sure. And I pay attention when people are talking or when I'm focusing on something. Most people can't.
What'd you say?
I'll watch 12 hours in a row of Lord of the Rings. No problem.
Oh, I'll binge watch series of stuff. I don't
I'm actually paying attention the whole time. Like I don't do anything else. I don't want to talk to
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. I'll just sit back and watch, but my brain is just too fucking. I don't know. My retention span of information sucks. I don't know how to make it better, but
I think there's going to be an event in the East Coast-ish area with some big Magic names that I've been lightly invited to, but I am not personally fond of some of the folks that are going to be there, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to go or not. But there might be. And pay attention to other shows, especially BBD. Go check out the Magic Jerks. Or are they still? I mean, they still must be MTG Attitude, but they also are like Magic Jerks as well. I know they're going to have some info on that, so pay attention to them. Go give them a like, a subscribe, follow. If you really want to get together on the East Coast of stuff, and if there's a big enough request, yes, I will make room in my schedule to go attend, just to be around. I like the community. I love seeing people. Prime was, just wonderful getting to know Prime at Vegas. He was one of the dudes that was just really gave it the full Monty effort, and I enjoyed everybody there. That's the one thing I'll take away from Magic 30 that they can't take away from me, and that was being able to connect with the Magic audience and recognizing that that's what really makes the community special. That's what makes the game special, is really connecting with the people that play it, not the people that make it and sell it.
I think even the people that make it are good people. I think the people that are selling it are the problem.
I agree. Like when we were in Vegas, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Well, except for Aaron. Aaron was kind of douchey.
That's why I said almost.
almost but I agree. I thought everybody was there. Awesome. Oh, that's bad.
Oh no.
Well, I think that's a pretty decent place to end the stream anyway. Bob knocked all the shit over.
Oh man. He's like talking to us, but we can't hear him because he's too far away.
Yeah. See, unlike his desk, mine is just filled with like bongs and stuff. So I'm glad that shit didn't happen.
Mine's just full of, well, at the moment, it's just empty fucking wrappers. Most of the time, it's just actually my desk's pretty clean. Yeah, why doesn't he just move that monitor left so he has both monitors visible and then have the camera above the monitors? Yeah. Just have it above the monitors or in between the two. Yeah. Look at you go. You got it. Slide that monitor on over.
That's a Twiddler technical.
Even better, you can hang the camera from the ceiling because you have rafters like I do. You can have that camera boom, right there above the monitors. Hang the monitor from the ceiling. Fuck it. That's what I did. I have a monitor up here. I have 4 monitors. Look at that. I just.
So there's no room to move my monitor anywhere.
Jesus,
man, it flipped the video around. Oh man, my shit's all wonky now. I accidentally kicked my camera stand and it went. And I got scared when I walked around because it landed with the camera face down on the concrete. I was like, oh, when I turned it over, I'm like,
good.
But you know what? It fixed something. Like, so when I have the software running, God, this thing is off. I think I might have jacked up my stand. Look into that. At any rate, so it went more full screen. Like I've been pissed off. Like, why is it not going full screen? Right on the phone itself, like on the face, it was like chopping the video down. And now it's back to full screen on my phone. It's like smack, go full screen. Cool.
There you go.
Just drop ticket and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it flipped horizontal. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, I'm going to have to attend to my wonky, busted-ass looking setup. Try to fix that shit. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fun one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Until next week, we've been Pure MTG, and you've been wonderful. Take care, everybody.